Fan is live and local with Fan Sports Saturday. The Fan Sports Day of the Week. Oh, this is some clever branding. Here's your host, Place Name Here.
We are off and running on a Saturday. Great Saturday of sports, specifically right here in Columbus. It's a rivalry weekend in Columbus, which we'll get to a little bit later on. Rivalry weekend in Major League Baseball in Ohio. PGA Championship. Tons of other news as well. I'm Dylan Tyre. Dane Sonzenbacher with me. Cole Bartemus running things in the back. I'm very excited about this Fan Sports Saturday for all the reasons that I just talked about. I mean, I remember I was in here a couple of weeks ago with you, Dane, and you were saying that this time of year, there's not a whole lot going on. It's not one of your favorite sports months, but this is a special day. Like it's moving day at the PGA Championship, Reds Guards later this evening, Hell is Real here in Columbus, FC Cincinnati and the crew. We've got some NHL playoffs tonight. We've got a Game 7 in the NBA tomorrow, a Game 7 in the NHL tomorrow. So it's shaping up to be a nice little sports weekend.
See, I thought I put May on my list.
Did you?
It was low, but I think I gave
thought
it a
you had
nod.
April in there because of the Masters.
It was.
Yeah.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
It was April. But somebody put May on there just because you're going to get Memorial coming up. That's why I thought I mentioned it. But yeah, I mean, I know you were... I admitted that I discounted hockey. I discounted baseball. So if that's if that's where your fan focus is, you probably love those summer months. I thought for our audience, you're probably a basketball, football.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. So I'm like, oh, we're about to hit the dog days of the sports calendar where SportsCenter is just diving baseball catches and hockey plays that you can't see the puck. That was just me, though. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that, but this week we did have some good football news, right? Like this is one of the more anticipated weeks of the NFL season because schedule release happened earlier this week. And yeah, I do want to ask you about that because, all right, listen, like,
that was what Tito was so excited about. Yeah, he's like, this is a great month. Yeah. They've released schedules. I was like,
the schedule release is something that people get excited about, not even because you get to see your team's schedule, I think, because you already know who they're playing, right? Like they released that a couple of months ago. It's because of all these videos now, the schedule release videos that people get excited about.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, have you not seen those things? Nope. Oh, man, that is the biggest deal. What was it the other night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I think? All these teams, like that is
they release
these videos.
That's a produced thing to say these are the teams we're playing.
Oh man, you need to check it. Like the Chargers have gone mega viral every season for like the last 5 years. They've done a whole anime thing. This year they did their entire schedule release in a Minecraft themed video. And they're trolling other teams and other sports within the video. Like it is.
Oh, so like
it is
the media departments are throwing their own. Their own daggers across the NFL. No, I missed this.
Yeah, a big one a couple of years ago is they did a script writers. Like you know how people would say the NFL it's scripted. Like they had a script writers meeting and one of the teams did that
these
for their
are the
release.
Things, Dylan, that you miss when you're not heavy in social media. I need to. I catch most of it, but I didn't hear about that. Mm-hmm. You got to do something. So this is the same thing we're talking about. Like the draft is so exciting. It is kind of until you're like. I'm amazed by the fanfare they're able to create around an event that does not have any sport going on. It's anticipation of a sport that's a season away. So that's like they do a really great job of keeping the eye, and I'm talking about the NFL, keeping the fan eye on football, even when you're not in that season to kind of get you through that end. So I'll give them credit. I don't think it bumps them up on it brings this month into the top tier, but they're trying.
The NFL's king, man. Like there's just something about it, right? The people are so interested in the National Football League that, oh man, we get so excited. All these people go to Green Bay to sit there outside and watch their guy get drafted, right? It's like that's what I'm thinking about when you're talking about this fanfare. Like they had the draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin this year, and it was packed. There were more people at the draft than live in Green Bay, I think.
I assumed it was just the whole town. I assumed it was the whole city just showed up, and that's why it was like that, because they've had it in big cities, and it hasn't had that turnout.
The NFL was just like, okay, you three have to wear some Vikings jerseys. You guys have to wear some Bengals jerseys.
Had to have. But I mean, like they had it in Vegas when it was like on
Yes.
there was a water exhibit. Was it in like the Bellagio's little front fountain area?
Yeah,
that might be crazy. I don't know that was true, but that's what it looked like on TV.
Yes. Yeah.
That seemed like that would be the anticipated one or the one people are showing up for, but maybe everybody in Wisconsin was like, this is as close as we're going to get. So they're just like, we're going. We're going to watch these picks come out and have something to cheer for every, I don't know, 10 minutes? Is that what the clock is?
Yeah, well, it's 5 now. The thing, like the one that really, Matthew Golden getting drafted by the Packers, like 20th overall. Everybody's losing their mind waiting for Matthew Golden, and then everybody just cleared out. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was funny. Like, Matthew Golden's the pick at 20, and he's a good football player and everything, but everybody is there to see Matthew Golden get drafted, and everybody leaves.
That's exactly why we're in the dog days. Is that is what people are grasping for. I mean, it's all right. We're allowed to have a lull in the sports season. Baseball's getting us through a little bit. Hockey will get us through, and NBA playoffs has been really exciting, I think. But I live in a Pacer household, so it's been exciting for us.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Pacers a little bit later on. They're a team that really intrigues me. Mm-hmm. Like, I think they're very fun to watch, and for whatever reason, super underrated still, even though they did the exact same thing last season.
In like the same roster.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Are you much of a golf guy?
I wouldn't put myself in much of.
Okay.
In the fact that I had to look up what the tournament that was happening right now was.
Do you play at all or no?
Yeah, I'll play.
Okay.
When invited.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes and goes like most golfers. You're like in it, and then I'm on the downslope with it. Like I'm on this seems like an incredible waste of time. I was like, this seems like 3 hours that I'm out here.
But then you hit that one shot and you're like, man, this is pretty sweet.
So I'm that one shot away from being back up on the climb. But yes, I go. If you were to invite me, I would say yes.
All right. We'll talk PGA Championship a little bit later on as well, because that's the major. It's golf's second major of the season this year. And the leaderboard right now is a little bit odd. Mm-hmm. It's not what you would expect. So we'll get into that a little bit later on as well. But I wanted to bring up football because the NFL schedules are out. The Browns schedule is out. The Bengals schedule is out. These teams are going to play each other the first week of the season. They're also going to play each other the final week of the season, which I really like. I do like that, like keeping it in state, big rivalry game, and say, maybe the Browns do something this year and that last game of the year is meaningful, right? You never know in the AFC North, but the Browns are going to start off with the Bengals and the Ravens back to back. And it got me thinking, right? Like the quarterback situation right now for the Cleveland Browns. They've got 4 guys in that room: Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and of course, Shedeur Sanders. Are we going to see those rookies play this season? Like, and at what point will we? I have no idea what to expect.
If Hard Knocks is not in Cleveland, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. And I don't know if they've released where they are or what the plan is for that. But if you're not going to get cameras and try to capitalize on that storyline of just you could get episodes out of just watching, okay, how is this quarterback going to play out? And then in your off episodes, just the other workings of the Cleveland Browns stadium. I mean, like to me, that's a layup, but that is the most interesting, at least preseason storyline. It feels for us people in Ohio, this is typical Brown behavior. This is what the Browns do. But yeah, I mean, even it'll make preseason incredibly fun. Like preseason games.
You were right about that. Like,
what are we going to see? You're not going to see Flacco out there that much because you're like
just splitting a game.
Right.
Like
you're just like, okay, you're going to watch it in real time, an actual quarterback battle. Usually you have an idea. It seems like a toss up at this point.
That's a great point. Like, I'm going to tune into Browns preseason. Like that's
because you don't need to see Flacco that much, even if you're going to say that's our starter.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what you're getting.
There's endless questions about how you manage that, though, because you also, if you're the Browns, you have to start building a solid team.
Yeah.
You have to use your camp wisely, not just to figure out who's your starting quarterback. You know what I mean? Like most other camps that have guys in place, they're getting their team really good. They're polishing the edges. If you're still figuring out a key component, that's a completely different picture. So yeah, I'd watch it.
I agree with you, and that's another good point in that I would say that team building is almost more important for the Browns this year because it's kind of a crapshoot with the quarterback, right? Like, they have lottery tickets right now with Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. Maybe one of them is good. Maybe one of them is the starter long term. But you got to get the rest of your ducks in a row. You got to get the rest of the team in order for when you do get a quarterback, right? Like, look at the situation with the Bengals, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit here, is that kind of the recipe now in the NFL, or there is a recipe, is to have a good quarterback on a rookie deal and a very good team around him. Like, so you need the rest of that team to be very good. You need the Browns around whoever the quarterback is. That rest of that team needs to be good. And maybe it's not one of these guys, right? And maybe it's Arch Manning next year. Maybe it's somebody else. And you have a quarterback that's inserted into this situation, and you're not worrying about the rest of the team. You're like, okay, the defense is good. The weapons are good. Just needed the quarterback to slot in. You see what I'm saying?
Defense has been pretty good, though.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong. I mean, I didn't catch a ton of the Browns.
They have good players. They've dealt with some injuries. They have good players on defense.
You made a really good point, and one I didn't think of when the draft was happening, because it was so much more fun to just be like, oh, my God, the Browns. Oh, what are they doing? What in the world are they doing? But you're absolutely right. If you're looking at the NFL as it is right now, the value is getting a guy on his rookie deal at the quarterback position, because you free up so much more space, because quarterbacks are so expensive for a good team to pay the other guys. So if you're like, okay, if that's our problem, let's give ourselves a better chance to land that position on a cheap-ish rookie deal so we can have that. You made it sound really smart, actually.
Well,
why not? Why not, if you're a team without a quarterback, to spend a couple early picks? Or, I mean, when did Shedeur go? He was late anyway. But if you see value there, to spend a couple picks on quarterbacks, you give yourself a better chance, even if it's lottery tickets. Yeah. If you get one of those guys to hit, okay, you've got the next 3 years to make a run at this thing. Pour money into the defense. See what you can do. You know, it's the opposite thing that the Bengals have going on right now.
Yeah. And speaking of, we're going to talk about the Bengals in a little bit. We're going to talk about their schedule release and the fact that they might need to win games next season without one of their best players. It's Fan Sports Saturday right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Check out this fresh deal on General Mills Giant Size Cereal. Select 20 to 29-ounce varieties or 3 for only $10 when you buy 3 with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
Booing umpires is a long tradition at baseball games. Fans let off some steam even though we know it's not going to change the call or that we're going to get a new umpire. But wait, that is what happened. Back in 1877, in the early days of baseball, on May 17th in a game in Cincinnati, after hearing fans boo his calls all game long, the umpire quit. According to the paper, he threw down his cane and stalked off the field. He'd had enough. In those days, there was only one umpire, so what to do? Well, a Cincinnati fan watching the game volunteered to take his place. What a surprising turn of events. This May 17th, 1877, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Huntington is banking that just clicks.
like asterisk-free checking, an account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
The Fan at 1460 ESPN Columbus is your radio home for Sunday Night Baseball.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Call The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222.
The Fan.
I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen.
That's just you drinking a Big Gulp from Speedway.
And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a hit. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes who are going above and beyond in their communities. Newman Roofing wants to recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in their towns to be recognized on 10TV and The Fan. Stay tuned as we begin announcing the selected honorees who truly embody the spirit of Newman Roofing's commitment to community.
Hi there, I'm Ryan Reynolds, and like most actors, I have a list of things that I like to have on set. It's called a rider. It's just little things like wind chimes being blown by a easterly breeze, a 7-year-old calico cat to purr on my lap, and of course 2 freshly cracked eggs scrambled with crispy hash brown sausage crumble and creamy chipotle sauce from Tim Hortons. It smells amazing. Now where did I put that hand-carved wooden spoon? From my rider to Tim's menu, try my new scrambled eggs loaded breakfast box.
Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
It's the Parade of Color at Oakland Nursery, the time to inject your home's landscape with lovely hues and shades that will explode all summer long. The best place to start is with flats, now on sale during Oakland's annual flat sale. Flats of marigolds, petunias, begonias, and impatiens, normally $19.99 a flat, now only $15.99. 32 plants per flat for just $15.99. Oakland Nursery is 35 acres of spacious outdoor shopping and pure gardening pleasure. For 85 years, your landscape's color starts at Oakland Nursery.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for the weekend. We're looking ahead to a mix of clouds and sunshine. We'll see high temperatures into the lower 70s here for today, but it will also be quite windy. Winds out the north and west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy, lows into the lower 50s, and we'll see more sunshine here on Sunday with highs into the lower 70s before we track cooler temperatures and rain here as we head into next week. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Dylan, Dane, and Cole back with you. Talking some quarterbacks, Browns quarterbacks, to lead off the show. Now we got to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. Their schedule is also out. And again, they're opening the season against the Browns. But will they have to do it? Will they be playing that football game without one of their best players? Probably their best guy on defense, Trey Hendrickson, who is in a contract dispute right now. He says that unless he gets a new deal, he's not going to be playing for the Browns this season, does not want to play. Do you buy that, Dane?
Yeah, I think so. And it sounds like just from that article that came out recently that this has been a long time discussion. This has been something in the making. This tends to happen, especially with guys that have been with, a franchise for a long time. Feelings do get involved, and it is important how you handle those things. And that's what seems to be has kind of sparked it is the idea that there's not communication on the Bengals end with him. He's like, hey, I've been here. I've been doing this thing. I performed well. The understanding was we'd re-sign a deal if I had a good season last year. I think I had a good season. And it's kind of been, from what he's saying, crickets on the Bengals side. So I would buy that a guy that's, in his 9th year?
Yeah, he's year 9, going to be year 10 next season.
Okay, so going into his 10th year, that guy is looking at, this is likely my last contract. I need to cash in on this because there's a small window for these guys to, for lack of a better term, kind of make their lifetime of money or their nest egg. Now, they'll go and do things with it afterwards, but this is a huge opportunity for him. So there's not going to be on his end. I'm sure he's been there for was he there all 9 years too?
No, pardon me. This is year 9. He's going into year 9. So he spent 8 seasons in the NFL. He was a 3rd-round draft pick by the New Orleans Saints. So he spent the first 4 years of his career there, and he's been with the Bengals for the last 4 seasons. His age 27 seasons to age 30 now. So that's another situation here. He's going to be a guy getting a contract that's going to push him well over 30 years old.
That's the nature of when you get to this point. So I would not be shocked at all if he says, okay, I'd like it here. I want to stay here, but highest bidder kind of sounds good for me right now if it's a good situation because I'm on the tail end of my career. Even if you drag it on, this will probably be that last big contract.
It's kind of confounding. It's a strange situation to me because you just said it. He had a good season. He's made the Pro Bowl each of his 4 years in Cincinnati. He was a first-team All-Pro this last season, and he finished 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year voting. His sack numbers in his time with the Bengals: 14 sacks his first season, 8 sacks his second season, 17.5 sacks during the 2023 season, then 17.5 sacks leading the NFL this past season, 2024. Why is he not getting paid? Guys that put up those numbers and have that sort of pedigree over time. I mean, he had 13.5 sacks his final season with New Orleans. He was kind of a late bloomer. He didn't do much his first 3 seasons and then just exploded. But he's been that guy pretty much every season since. Guys that do that, guys with those sorts of accolades and those numbers just get paid in the NFL, don't they?
Yeah, it's usually not. That's why you can understand his side of it. Those are payable numbers. This isn't even going to get to a dispute. And usually, even if it is, from the franchise side, from the team side, you're at least getting the communication that, yes, we want this guy. We have every intention of getting it done. We just have to work out the details, kind of punt it down the road. You don't want it to get into a point now where even if you were going to get there, there's been too much in the media. There's been too much back and forth. We've seen it happen. I mean, we've seen these disputes end up and the guys end up right where they were, but it just makes it a little messier. I mean, I think for the Bengals, you've got to look at the big picture of why this might be, of where the money is going, if not to him. Spent a lot of money on offense, spent a lot of money shoring that up because you had to. You can't have it all, especially if you're the Bengals. So it's like, okay, they just drafted a defensive end in the first round.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M.
So all signs seem to be pointing towards pay the offense, get somebody that can be useful and productive on a rookie contract on the defense, and see what we can do that way. But yeah, it ends up being you're going to let a guy that's, runner-up defensive player of the year, put up all the numbers you want to, walk.
Well, and that's the issue, right? Their defense isn't very good, and they're probably going to let their best defensive player walk. It's kind of the reverse of the situation that we were talking about with the quarterbacks in our last segment, saying that, it's advantageous to try to find a good quarterback on a rookie deal. And, I get what it sounds like when I say that. Oh, let's just go find a good quarterback on a rookie deal. It's a very hard thing to do in the NFL. Teams try and do it every single season, and they fail more often than not. But they did have that in Joe Burrow. They had a good quarterback on a rookie deal. They went to a Super Bowl, right? And they didn't get it done. And then it's like, okay, well, we had Jamar Chase on his rookie deal, T. Higgins on his rookie deal, all these guys that lined up nicely. And now they're in that reverse scenario, that reverse situation where, hey, we got to keep these guys on offense, so you got to pay them, and that means you have to make some changes on defense, right? So it's not an easy situation for them. I don't envy their management whatsoever, because those are some hard decisions and hard conversations you have to have. But I feel like a player like Trey Hendrickson, he's a pretty low-maintenance guy, too, when it comes to his durability, his availability, and just what he means to the team. I feel like you got to figure something out for that guy, right? And if you were going to trade him, why wouldn't you do it before the draft? Because now that price is going to go down.
There's a piece of it, too, that you consider what he would mean to the team and locker room and the message you're sending as an organization to those other guys that are veterans and that are going to get there. I mean, he referenced even what was going on with Jamar Chase or what, like, how they've handled these. There's something to be said for, the teams that are consistently making their runs to the Super Bowl. One, they pretty much always have a quarterback locked in.
Yes.
Okay, they've got a guy that's a franchise guy. That's one thing. But you rarely hear a lot of dispute around that, maybe because they've been proven winners and a lot of people want to be a part of it. Well, they choose to be a part of it. But with that, there's a piece of those teams that, aside from having a quarterback, they have their system, and they seem to communicate better to the players from a franchise perspective. That's a piece of winning in the NFL, I think. That is a piece of building a strong team, not being constantly at odds with your guys, your locker room, and every year becomes a you versus them. You feel that in the locker room.
Yeah, I think you just look at the best teams around the NFL, and that's the case, right? Like the Chiefs, always relevant. Because,
that's exactly who's in my head.
Yeah, the Eagles. The Eagles are the same way. Like, they've drafted really nicely, but they've also been able to pay their guys, keep their guys, and there's just a culture there, I think, where it's more about, I don't want to say that the Bengals aren't about winning, because everybody wants to win, right? But there's that buy-in and that, okay, it's proven that we've been able to do this. Like, the Eagles have been relevant every year for the last few years. The Chiefs have been relevant every year for the last few years. Guys want to be a part of that. Now you see what the Eagles have. Great offensive line, great defensive line, great quarterback play. I know some people might dispute that, but Super Bowl champs.
Good enough.
Saquon Barkley is there now. They've got good weapons on the outside. In A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, it's like, okay, I want to be a part of that. And you're willing to maybe take a discount in some situations, right? But it's just, I see what you're saying there. It's like,
I think it's culture. You hit it.
Yeah.
Everything I tried to describe was just in one word. Culture.
Like
you just said it, but yeah, that's what I'm was getting to, is like, there's something there that building that culture that is, I think, a big reason. How else do you explain it in a league that is supposed to be built for parity, right? As far as the numbers work out, the contracts, how the draft system works, yet we still see the same teams making their way to the top. They still see the same teams making their way to the top. There's something in that, building a culture, that just seems to have problems like this not happen.
Yeah.
And it's just like, unfortunately, our Ohio teams, it does, they struggle with that piece of it. It leads to be wildly entertaining, though. Well, at least for ones that are not fans of either one, it's entertaining to watch a quarterback situation play out in Cleveland and in Cincinnati. Okay, how are you guys going to bridge this gap of pouring all this money into the offense and still get back to that, Super Bowl level?
The Cleveland Cavaliers were wildly entertaining during the regular season, but they could not get it done again in the playoffs. So where will the Cavs go from here? That's coming up next. It's Fan Sports Saturday right here on The Fan.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Hardscape pros, are you tired of working with broken down tools and chasing paychecks? At 9 Trees, we respect your craft, invest in the best equipment, and back our crews with full benefits and top pay. We're not just offering you a job, we're offering you a career. If you're a seasoned pro, work with a top patio builder that treats you like family. Call 9 Trees at 614-921-9595 or visit 9treeslc.com to apply. 9 Trees Landscape Construction.
The best reputation, the best compensation.
Hiring today for tomorrow with WM.
A stable career and a safe environment. That's what you get as a heavy-duty mechanic at WM.
Plus great benefits like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family.
WM is now hiring heavy-duty mechanics in Columbus. Get boot and tool allowance and additional pay with a Cummins certification or CDL license.
There are openings for CDL truck drivers too, with home daily routes.
Apply online at careers.wm.com. That's careers.wm.com.
A people-first, military-friendly, equal opportunity employer.
The standing room only, with all eyes on the 18th green.
That's a good-looking ball.
The sudden roars. That Sunday celebration.
Jack always made the putt at 18, and today Scotty Scheffler did.
Witness the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday, May 26th through June 1st. It's second to none. Visit memorialtickets.com today.
Wow, what a shot.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Fan Sports Saturday, Dylan Tyre, Dane Sonsenbacher, Cole Bartemus here with you. Great Saturday for sports, specifically right here in Columbus, which we'll get to a little bit later on. Hell is real, MLS, FC Cincinnati and the Crew. You've got the Ohio Cup, the Guardians taking on the Reds down in Cincinnati. It's rivalry weekend across all of Major League Baseball, by the way, which is a pretty exciting thing, a newer thing that they're doing. But I want to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Their season is done. They were upset by the Indiana Pacers, and I use upset loosely there because the Cavs, they're the highest seed, number one seed. Great regular season this year for the Cleveland Cavaliers, but that matchup was tough for the Cavs. The Pacers are a team that's been there before. They're back to the Eastern Conference Final after beating the Cavs. So where do you think the Cleveland Cavaliers go from here, Dane? This is a couple of seasons in a row of disappointment where, you know, it feels like they're building towards something. They have a good regular season. They make a little run in the playoffs, but their stars, their top guys, run out of gas at the end. And like I said, the Pacers are a tough matchup. They're a good team, still underrated for whatever reason. Same roster they had last year. But the Cavs just can't get over that hump, it feels like.
I think what you hit on right there was a big part of it. The Pacers had a lot of depth, too. A lot of production off the bench. They were a deep team. Yeah, if you're going to make that playoff run, I think we've seen, you got to have stars, right? Which is like, that's kind of the confounding thing. Yeah, Pacers have some stars, but not like the one big name guys.
And Tyrese Halliburton was voted the most overrated player in the NBA, right? Which I think he's proven is probably false.
False.
Yeah, they don't have that superstar guy.
Right. But, you know, you can only do so much. I always watching that series with Pacers and Cavs, I'm like, if Donovan Mitchell's going to score 40 plus points a game, that doesn't make me feel great about where the Cavs are. Like, you can't have one dude that is going to carry you through a 7-game series. In the regular season, yeah, you can win some games that way. I mean, they won a bunch of games. But that's what I saw in just that series. I saw a team in the Pacers that had been here before, was never going to say we're out of it, had some crazy comebacks and like historical comebacks in those games. And that's where you saw the experience and maybe on some end a little bit of the inexperience of the Cavs. But they seem like, I mean, and I'm sure you'll touch on a little bit of where the money side goes from here, where the contracts are at. That might be the hill. But it feels still like they're close. Like this team with a little bit of that experience now in the playoffs has plenty of talent built in there.
Yeah, you're right. That is the big thing for the Cavs, right? Because I feel like there's some of these, I don't necessarily want to call it culture, but kind of what we touched on in our last segment talking about the Bengals is that there's some of these like deeper questions within the team, like, are these the guys that we need going forward, right? But then there are these cap questions that are right there staring you in the face. Like the Cavs, they have some cap problems. Like Ty Jerome is going to be a free agent this year. DeAndre Hunter is a guy that they got to consider locking up. They acquired him during the regular season, and he proved to be a nice piece. But you've got a lot of money tied up in Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. Will you have to trade one of these guys? And I think another question when it comes to maybe that backcourt for the Cavs is you've got Donovan Mitchell, you've got Darius Garland. These guys, there were injuries that affected the Cavs in the postseason, and injuries have affected them the last couple of years. So, is this something that you want to commit to going forward? Like, are these the guys that are going to get it done for you? Donovan Mitchell, I think, is a real star, right? Like he's proven that he's a dog and can get it done, but he needs a little bit of support, right? Like all these guys that during the regular season, the Cavs were great, but at times in the playoff, I think about a guy like Ty Jerome. Everybody is upset with Ty Jerome. It's like, what the heck is this guy doing? During the regular season, he was a nice piece for the Cavs, but it's maybe that we haven't necessarily been there before the same way. Like I just think about some of the guys on the Pacers, like the Nembhards of the worlds that just step up in the playoffs. It's like, who is this guy? Where did he come? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think on some level you get a little lucky there too. And not that these guys hadn't been good, but that those type of guys emerge for you.
Yeah.
So you hope when you're the Cavs, you don't have to rely on one guy having a great playoff performance. The Pacers last year and even this year had guys that had ups and downs and were almost non-existent in some of their playoff series. But they had enough depth and were getting enough from those role guys. Yeah, the Nembharts and is it Neesmith?
Yeah,
and
Neesmith.
Like, who else? Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
These guys that come off the bench that still produce, so you don't have to rely just on your stars that you are paying all the money. And then those stars are eventually going to emerge. You get to a conference finals like, oh, there he is. In Cavs' case, you're not going to get to find out because you had too many eggs in that basket. But it is hard to manufacture depth on an NBA. I mean, everybody struggles with it unless you have the money to just pour into it. Depth on an NBA roster that you got to get a lot from guys that you're paying relatively little.
Well, and that is the thing that I think the Cavs did have some success finding some diamonds in the rough like that, but those guys just didn't end up stepping up the way that they needed them to in the playoffs, whereas you look at the Pacers and they have those guys that step up. I'm thinking of this Nuggets series, which we'll get into a little bit later on as well with Game 7 coming up tomorrow, and that, the Nuggets have had a couple of opportunities to win games in this series that they haven't ended up winning because they've gone cold for whatever reason, or guys coming off the bench haven't hit those shots. Well, what happened in the last game that forces the Game 7 for the Nuggets is that they're winning the game. It gets a little bit dicey. The Thunder are right back in it, and then the Nuggets have guys come off the bench and hit a couple of big threes. Those guys, like Aaron Gordon steps up, hits a three. Michael Porter Jr. steps up, hits a three at a timely moment in the game. That's the difference, right? Just those little momentum swings when maybe your guys need a breather. Like Jokic, I think Jokic will do a lot in the game tomorrow just because that's what Jokic does, right? Like the guy is absolutely unbelievable, but he needs to get a breather for 5 minutes a game, right? Yeah. Like that's Jamal Murray needs to get a breather for 5 minutes a game. He was sick in the last game, played great, but there are moments in NBA games, specifically in the playoffs, when you just need your depth players to step up. And I just think back to that Nuggets series, and that's been the difference in a couple of these games. Like the Nuggets might have already won the series if they had guys hit more shots. Like that was the thing in Game 5. They were winning. Guys just didn't hit shots. Game 6, they're winning. Guys hit shots, and they put the Thunder away.
Yeah, from the Cavs and back to the Cavs too, because those are all great points on what you want those guys off the bench.
Yeah,
a lot of times for bench guys that comes with experience.
Yeah,
and now experience that they got this year. They lost some tough games in this series, and it was closer than maybe it looked because of those comebacks. And the Pacers steal 2 at home off the bat. That it's really tough to come back from. Yeah, that
sets the tone.
But they're not far off. I think like the takeaway and like the what's next for the Cavs. Keep as many of these guys as you can. Mm-hmm. Like you clearly have something here. Mm-hmm. You have something if you can afford to kind of keep it, and the experience is gaining more value even with the same parts. That series was a perfect example of it. If you have the Pacers, almost exact same roster, now with experience and with the help of Celtics now struggling, can go on, meet the Knicks, and can make that run. That could be the Cavs if a few things go differently and they get a little bit more help to those stars. So, I mean, yeah, what's next? hopefully more of the same.
Yeah.
Even if they struggled in the playoffs a little bit, hopefully more of the same.
That is a little bit of the nature of the beast in the NBA, right? Is I feel like there's a level of impatience where it's like there are so many big moves that happen in the NBA, it feels like, that just flip the fortunes of a team. This guy goes here. Oh, they're worst to first.
That flipped the league, too.
Yeah, you're right.
They're just like these guys move so quickly and can have such an impact more than any other sport.
Yeah.
One guy moving, two guys moving can be like the whole dynamics of the conferences shift in who's the favorite. You see that a lot, and that leads to, for NBA fans and franchises, like, well, why don't we just go get LeBron back real quick? Can we just get, like, I don't know, KD and
Giannis was likely on the move this summer, right? Like, that could flip the NBA. But what you're saying is preach a little bit of patience here, run it back as best you can, and hopefully that experience gets you over the bar.
That's my take.
Well, you know who has a lot of experience is the Ohio State football team, and a couple of guys on that team in particular after big seasons last year. We'll tell you more about them and where they're ranked in the top 100 players in college football next. It's Fan Sports Saturday right here on The Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen.
That's just you drinking a big gulp from Speedway.
And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a hit. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes who are going above and beyond in their communities. Newman Roofing wants to recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in their towns to be recognized on 10TV and The Fan. Stay tuned as we begin announcing the selected honorees who truly embody the spirit of Newman Roofing's commitment to community.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. Visit Giant Eagle to see how easy it is to save.
AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio is your Medicaid plan for more benefits, more rewards. We know that good health means more than just seeing a doctor when you're sick. Eligible members can receive extras like home-delivered meals and family essentials, like baby carriers and kids' school supplies. Members can even earn rewards for playing mobile health trivia games. Learn more at AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com and call the Ohio Medicaid Consumer Hotline at 1-800-324-8680 to choose AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from The Diamond Seller, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Seller on Salmo Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondseller.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Aaron, I love that we fix ACs for free.
I don't think we do that, Jerry.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Stay with me, Aaron. I'm going to explain to you how it works.
You're going to explain to me how my own invention works?
Get Eco.
ECO.
Step 1. Some other HVAC company tells a customer that they need a whole new system.
Yes.
And then they call us.
They can always call us, Jerry.
Get Eco.
ECO.
And then we repair their system for free.
No, then they pay us.
But we give the money back, right?
We give them back all the money they paid us to fix their old system when they finally do need a new one.
Up to $1,500, right?
Right.
Aaron, we're fixing HVAC systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
We extend the life of their system.
That's right.
Those extra years are free. On me.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco. Plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Sun, splashes, and nonstop fun await at Zoombezi Bay.
Get your 2025 season pass for unlimited thrills,
including our all-new conservation tower. Buy now at ZoombeziBay.com.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Dylan, Dane, and Cole back with you. Fan Sports Saturday. Time to talk a little bit of Ohio State football. Dane, I wanted to talk Buckeyes because earlier this week I saw On3 put out a top 100 ranking ahead of the 2025 college football season, and 2 Buckeyes are in the top 3. Can you guess who they are?
I can. I know, but I could have also guessed.
All right, Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs. Jeremiah Smith ranked as the number 1 player in college football by On3 going into 2025. Caleb Downs is number 3. I'll tell you the rest of the top 5. How about that? We've got Dylan Stewart, an edge from South Carolina at number 2. Colin Simmons, an edge from Texas at number 4. And Sam Levitt, quarterback from Arizona State at number 5. Ryan Williams, by the way, from Alabama is at number 6. I might have him a little bit higher on the list. I really like Ryan Williams. But Jeremiah Smith is the number 1 player in college football. You like that?
Well, yeah, I like it, and I also think it's deserved. I mean, it was freaky to watch him as being such a young guy and be able to not fall off. I mean, you always see him, you're going to feel like you have this slump from a guy, or just like, okay, you can't have it all. You know, you can't be this young of a player, this much production, and then still be so relevant all the way through to a national championship. And, you know, generational gets thrown around, but he'll go down as one of the best in Ohio State history. And we still got him for 2 more years. Yep. So, I mean, I think he's deserving, and it's because I don't think we've seen him peak yet either.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like you're not getting a guy. This guy is still on the ascent up his hill. Columbus is lucky to have him, and then Caleb Downs is, you know, I read through the ranking, and they're kind of like, you know, safety doesn't usually show up this high. It's not as an important position at the college level, maybe even at the professional level. But to him, in his version of safety, it is. He is everywhere. He's as sure of a tackle as I've seen. He stands out as a safety, which is relatively rare. You don't notice them that much. How he plays is he's one of the best I've seen do it at the college level, I think. I mean, I know I played receiver, but Caleb Downs was like, and I don't wear other people's jerseys. he was as close as I came to buying a number 2 jersey. I was like, this guy is so essential to this team. You just feel good when he's on the field and healthy, and he stayed healthy. I mean, so I think those are both incredibly deserving. You had so many guys leaving the team this year to go on to the NFL that you can see why. I mean, was there any other one more?
Carnell Tate's 48.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, those are your 2 stars on offense and defense. Build around them with some young guys, but I think those are deserving slots and probably where I would have slotted them.
You said something that I found interesting in that, safety isn't necessarily, it's not necessarily a position that's ever in vogue, right? Like outside of maybe Troy Polamalu and guys like that era of safety, I think was quite good. You think about the Ed Reeds of the world, guys like that people really, really looked at and said, this guy is a no doubt Hall of Fame style player. But nowadays, I don't think there are that many of those guys in the NFL in terms of like superstar safeties. Maybe Derwin James or a player like that, but even he hasn't been fully healthy in his time in the National Football League. But I bring this up because did you play with or against any guys like that where you were like, oh, wow, a safety like that? I mean, because the way you talk about Downs that's pretty impressive.
He's not that I can that stand out that much to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was still some. I don't think Polamalu, I think he was out of the NFL by the time I was there. I'd have to check that, but I don't really remember.
You might have cross paths for a couple of seasons, I think.
Might have.
Yeah.
And he was on the tail end of his career, but you're right in that, like, that era of, like, the Ed Reed, the safeties that were everywhere doing everything, and that were even, like, kind of improvising back there and making plays. You don't feel like you see it that much anymore, those guys that, and I don't know if it's because the defense has changed a little bit in reaction to how the offensive game is being played. But no, I mean, he's a noteworthy, you can't help but have your eyes drawn to him making plays and making it from all over the field. And I think that's also a piece of that is how well Ohio State's used them. Both of these guys really, but Caleb in particular, putting him in different positions on defense to be effective and make the plays and be the star there. I think they've done an outstanding job of making sure their guys are there to make an impact. And on top of it, I mean, he's a capable punt returner.
Yeah.
Like he's clearly an electric athlete, one of those guys that if you wanted to take the risk, you could throw him on offense.
Yeah, they've talked about that, right? Like utilizing him at running back potential. I don't think you're ever going to do that just because he's so valuable to you on defense. Right?
If you did it, though,
he'd be good.
he might be number 1. If you did it, he's number 3 as just a safety.
That's true.
But I think it's more likely that he could make that jump and do some things on offense just to kind of pad that resume. Then, Jeremiah's not going to play defense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, he's an all-arounder. So, yeah, love watching both of those guys. But for whatever reason, yeah, I'm a big Caleb Downs fan.
Is that more of a thing in modern-day football that maybe a defense or even an offense is more willing to adapt to a guy's skill set? Like, you see he's not put into a box, Downs, and Jeremiah Smith either. They allow him to do what he's good at, like how he's going to best affect the team. I think, is that more of a thing in the modern day game where you let a guy that's a rangy athlete and can do multiple things do multiple things?
I think it's more of a trait of modern college football.
Okay.
I think it's been a part of the NFL, and I think you saw a guy, because it was, even in Pittsburgh, we've talked about Polamalu. He was notorious, and it was just like known that he knew the defense so well that he would just go rogue sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but he was that good. And it made it so hard on an offense because that was one of his strengths, what he could do. And you couldn't always plan for what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you think you see, but that was because those, Pittsburgh Steelers defenses and defensive coordinators that they're forever, they're just like, we're going to let him cook.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Troy does. I think in the past college football, you had to rely and build a system. And I think that's why you saw so many teams have identities on defense and offense that were just like, this is how Wisconsin plays defense, or this is an Ohio State quote unquote defense. They like to do this because it's the same coordinators. I think anymore, it seems more, I think we'll probably see it more when you have to adjust to new top-end talent guys coming into your system, such as Caleb Downs. When guys transfer in, when you need a safety and you get a guy that plays a little bit different than is in your system, I think you're going to see more and more coordinators learning just, okay, we need to build it around this. We need to be adjusting. So I think how the game is structured now, the modern college football game, has forced that. That's a really good observation, but yeah, I think it's forced that.
Yeah, and I think about Penn State a little bit too, with guys like Abdul Carter or a Micah Parsons that maybe started out as stand-up linebackers, guys playing in the middle, and that they're just such freak athletes. They're like, we got to put you on the edge. Got to let you rush the passer.
And at that level too, you got to think about of the players on the field at the college level. Still, I mean, we are seeing it more and more as professional sports, but still, 90% of those rosters, most rosters, are not NFL guys. Mm-hmm. They're guys that are just might be the end of their football career. Maybe they go to some camps. So when you have these guys are freak NFL level athletes, you have to put them in positions that and you make it work, because there's a much bigger talent discrepancy in college still than there is in the NFL. Everybody's a freak in the NFL. At the college level, there's a much bigger gap. You better play the hits. You better go to your guys that are going to be the dudes.
All right, we're going to keep it in the NFL. More drama in Chicago with last year's #1 overall pick, Caleb Williams. That's next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Buy 5, Save 5 deals are back this week at Meijer. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more when you mix or match hundreds of items, like select varieties of Post and Kellogg's large size cereal, Kraft shredded or chunk cheese, Meijer essential paper towels, and 24 packs of select Coca-Cola and Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable. The Buy 5, Save 5 deals at Meijer. That's the good life. A good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with a thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
This summer, something wild is coming to your Columbus Zoo. The all-new North America Trek opens soon. Get closer than ever to Mexican wolves, river otters, and more in stunning new habitats. Experience wildlife and conservation in action. Plan your visit today at columbuszoo.org.
Day 1, the hardest day. The day you hear,
"This is a type of blood cancer."
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with ONE+. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Nate Puderball. Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinals saw the New York Knicks eliminate the Boston Celtics 119-81, winning the series 4-2. Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby led the way for the Knicks with 23 points apiece, and Josh Hart added a triple-double in the win. In the NHL, the Maple Leafs forced Game 7 in the Eastern Conference semifinals, beating the Panthers 2-0. Austin Matthews broke a scoreless tie in the third, and Joseph Wall stopped all 22 shots. Game 7 comes your way this Sunday. And down in Cincinnati, the Reds won Game 1 of the Ohio Cup, beating the Guardians 5-4. Will Benson hit a 3-run shot in the second, and Austin Hayes added a solo shot. Ryan Singer earned his 5th win, allowing 3 runs and 3 hits in 5 innings. Catch Game 2 tonight on The Fan. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Dylan Tyre, Dane Sonsenbacher, Cole Bartemus with you. Dane, more drama in Chicago at the quarterback position. I'm going to preface all this by telling you that I am a Chicago Bears fan. You, of course, are a former Chicago Bear, a great number 18 before the guy that we're going to talk about, Caleb Williams.
I made sure he called me and asked first.
Yeah. Did you get anything from him?
Yeah, I said, we'll see how you do.
Okay.
All right, I'll let you do it, but we'll see. It was actually part of the deal to get him to come to Chicago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was trying to not come, and he's just like, hey, only if I can wear 18. And they're like, hey, you got to call this guy that played for 2 years back in 11 and 12. And I was like, all right, so you're welcome, Bears fans, for a talent.
So the story here with Caleb Williams is like there was all this chatter before the draft, right? That Caleb Williams did not want to go to Chicago. His dad, Carl, didn't want him to go to Chicago because, of course, Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die. Listen, that's pretty true. It's pretty true. They've never had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards in a season. Caleb Williams going to try to change that this season. But the chatter now, Seth Wickersham has written a book, American Kings, a biography of the quarterback, which has a lot of information from both Caleb and Carl Williams leading into that draft. And what's come out in the last week is that Caleb Williams and his family were so concerned about being picked by the Chicago Bears that they tried circumventing the entire NFL draft, even consulting with lawyers to potentially play in the United Football League, to do whatever they could to not be drafted by the Chicago Bears first overall. But apparently what happened is that Ryan Poles, the general manager of the Chicago Bears, met with Caleb Williams and said, I am drafting you no matter what, which I love to hear. That means they were so dead set on drafting Caleb Williams over anybody that they were like, I don't care what you do. You're going to be a Chicago Bear. And after that meeting, Caleb Williams essentially said, I'm going to be the guy for the Chicago Bears. I'm going to be the one to fix this. I'm going to be the one to change this, which I like. So the lead here is that, yeah, there's a lot of drama. I hate to hear that he didn't want to be a Chicago Bear in the first place, but I am encouraged by the fact that after meeting with the brass in Chicago, he said, I'm going to be the guy to fix this. Now he's worked himself into a pretty nice situation. I will say it was a mess last year with Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus. There's reports in these articles that they weren't even helping him watch film. Like he would turn on the film and nobody was there to help coach him up. He just kind of had to figure it out for himself. Now he's got Ben Johnson. So I think things are better. But does this concern you at all as a former Chicago Bear, just somebody that knows the league?
I think it's understandable, honestly, from his point of view, to try to do what they can to get yourself in a good situation. Because at the quarterback position, it seems like you have a very small window until you get put in a box of, didn't work out. You see it every year. You could go through a list in your head of the guys that are like, thought he might be something, but wrong situation, even with really good players, puts you in a very, puts you down a career path that could be short and, on the financial side could be millions and millions less than you are worth as a talent. So it seems crazy because it doesn't get done that often. Everybody just defers to the almighty NFL, but that guys would try to control their own fate. I think it's good that he didn't go that route because there's also the side of it where then you become toxic. If you do that, you become untouchable, and that can have its own detriment. Why I think it's smart from the Bears, he was an incredible talent in college. And to me, he has a quirky personality. The fingernail painting thing was always odd. All that aside, he was one of those guys that you're like, oh, he's special. The way he carried himself playing, he just has that attitude enough that maybe it's kind of off-putting to people, but can translate into being a star in the NFL. NFL stars don't need to be the most normal humans on earth. So I think it's super smart by the Bears to say hey, you're the guy. If anybody's going to do this, you're the guy. Trust us. Let us build it around you. But that's the piece, because we've talked about already for a while on the show, the value of getting a young star at that position.
So what you're saying is the Chicago Bears played to the ego a little bit. They said, you are going to be the guy. We believe in you. And he lapped it up. He's like, yeah, I think I am going to be the guy.
If you can turn that guy into being hey, you're right. You're not wrong about this franchise. The numbers say it's been tough to succeed here. Are you special or what?
And I think
the kid challenge him.
I do think an NFL quarterback has to have some of that. I think we do see guys that are maybe a little bit more understated. Even Jalen Hurts isn't really out there, but he's got that dog to him when it comes down to it, right? The guys on the field know he's in control when it comes down to it. We've seen some mic'd up clips come out with him talking to Saquon in the backfield, and you're like, okay, he's that dude. And I think Caleb has a little bit of that in him too, where he's definitely more out there. He's got a flamboyant personality. He's more FU, but I think when things get snowballing in the right direction, guys can get behind that on the field.
Absolutely. And all that goes out the window. The personality things aside, and especially at that level of football, you don't have to like the guy.
Yeah.
But you got to feel like he's a guy. That's it regardless. Every position, you're probably better served in that league, and probably a lot of major professional sports league, to have an irrational confidence. You always are better off to be on that end, to skew that way, than the other. So, yeah, most of the great quarterbacks, irrationally confident. Some that you get there one way or the other, but he's got that naturally. He's like, okay, yeah, nope, no question. But that's what you want to feel as a teammate. When he goes out, you're just like, oh, I got faith that he can make something happen. So, I mean, I want to see the Bears on that level, that way of getting back to relevance for multiple reasons. I think it's a great big city brand for the NFL. I mean, I think it's a great fan base. It's a great city to have a good football team at. Everything lines up to if they can get hot and be relevant, I would really like to see it. So yeah, hopefully it is interesting that this comes out so kind of late in the conversation. I'm hoping that that's kind of squashed at this point.
Well, I think it's more of a story because statistically, Bears season record-wise, he wasn't the best rookie quarterback this past year. I think, again, all of this stuff came up going into the draft process, and it was quashed pretty quickly by the Bears and Caleb Williams when he was drafted by the Bears. I think in his introductory press conference, that's what he's getting asked about, is it sounded like you didn't want to go here. You ended up going here, and he was like, no, this is where I want to be. I want to be the guy here. Now it's just come back up, and I think it's kind of a story again and relevant again because statistically, he was not Jaden Daniels this year. He was not even Bo Nix this year. he did have a pretty nice season. Threw for over 3,000 yards, 8 interceptions, I believe, had 20 touchdowns, bad offensive line, good weapons, absolutely dysfunctional team. I mean, he had multiple offensive coordinators this season, multiple head coaches this season. Just wasn't great for Caleb Williams. I think that's why it's a story, because he wasn't the guy this past season, whereas Jaden Daniels, who was drafted after him, whereas Bo Nix, who was drafted after him, they had their teams in the playoffs. They had their teams battling for spots, and they put up good numbers this season. I think that's why it's such a big year for Caleb Williams this year, is because he does have that personality. It does rub people the wrong way. But if he delivers, I think people are going to look at him a lot more like a guy like Joe Burrow, who also has kind of a unique personality. He's a little bit more quiet than Caleb, but he also has a unique personality. If Caleb delivers and starts to be the guy in Chicago, you match that up with who he is off the field, I think he's going to be a transcendent superstar.
It'll do wonders for my jersey sales. It will really make things. It will help me personally to have that 18 value go up, and then it becomes vintage. If it doesn't say Williams, it might say Sanzemacher on the back. I'm fully rooting for it. I think the difference in Caleb Williams and Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, and there's two kinds of quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's guys that will put up great numbers or can have good season and are great quarterbacks, right? And I'm sure statistically Caleb Williams wasn't put up the numbers that those guys did. I'm sure if the three of these guys went to open market, I bet their values are right there. If not, people are going to want Caleb Williams. The difference in quarterbacks that I see is there's guys that you can look at and you're like, really good player. If it doesn't work out, would be a good backup.
Mm-hmm.
There's guys that you look at that he is never going to be a backup.
Yeah.
He's either going to be the dude or he's probably not going to be in the league anymore. And if I'm rooting for a team, I'd rather have that guy, a guy that is clearly, can you picture Caleb Williams being a backup somewhere?
Absolutely not.
And that's what I want in my quarterback. You can see that in guys that are just like, oh, this guy is not going to back anybody up. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there becomes less of there's a different markets. Because if you're you're recruiting or drafting or signing a backup quarterback, you want certain traits out of him, right? You want to be, like this is the kind of clipboard holder we want. I want my quarterback to be a guy, and teams do, that when you look at him, you're like, that guy's never holding the clipboard. Unless he's like hurt, unless he's got a torn Achilles, he's not holding the clipboard. So that's how I differentiate these. Maybe he didn't have the numbers, but there's an intangible there with dudes that are starters in the NFL. There's only 32 positions for this, and you have to lead in one of like the toughest leagues in the world. It takes somebody a little off and special. That's why I'm a fan of having him as your cornerstone, even if it goes down in flames.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just think you need those guys, right? Yeah. You need those guys that are him, that are that dog, and have that almost ridiculous self-confidence and belief, like we were saying. And I think those are the best guys. Like Pat Mahomes is, again, kind of a quieter guy, but he's just out there so much that you see him all the time, but he's got that dog in him very clearly. Hurts has that dog in him. I think Joe Burrow's got that dog in him. Josh Allen, I think, has got that dog in him. There's
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys that have established themselves, that's why that's how, at least in my head, and I'm not... But you can pretty well, if you personally and anybody listening, like you can kind of break guys into like what you see as like, could this guy be a backup or not?
Mm-hmm.
Like, could I see this or not? You could have a great player, and again, you might make a big run, but for like overall success and having consistently making runs, you got to have a guy at that position.
Mm-hmm. It is moving day in the PGA Championship. Huge golf going on down at Quail Hollow this morning, throughout the rest of the day. But some big names are noticeably absent from the leaderboard. We'll talk more about that next. It's Fan Sports Saturday right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Dude, I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen.
That's just you drinking a big gulp from Speedway.
Exactly. Song of the summer. Here comes the drop. Crisp, fruity flavors like the limited time Mountain Dew Pitch Black. And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a summer hit.
I'm not sure you know how songs work.
The convenience stores of Speedway. Hold on, you gotta hear how it ends. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
When you're on the go, every minute counts. Meyer Home Delivery and Pickup helps you make the most of every second. Get all your weekly shopping done online, quickly and easily, from wherever you are, whenever you want. Have your Meyer order delivered to your home by the service awarded #1 in grocery delivery. Or pick it up yourself while out and about. Whatever works for your schedule. The good life is in reach with Meyer Home Delivery and Pickup. See Meyer.com for details.
Tired of being undervalued? Join 9 Trees and get what you deserve. At 9 Trees, we don't just hire hardscapers. We build a team of skilled pros who take pride in their craft and get rewarded for it. Top pay that beats what you're making now, we guarantee it. Performance bonuses, modern equipment and the tools you need, medical benefits and retirement accounts. You've got the skills, we've got the respect, and the paycheck to match. Make the move. Apply today at 9treeslc.com or call 614-921-9595.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey, it's Anthony for Orthopedic One. I'm not invincible anymore. I never was, but I refuse to punt on things I still love to do. That's why over the past several years, when I've had things creep up, like back pain, shoulder issue, elbow problem, I've had it all, I've always chosen Orthopedic One. That's because Orthopedic One is Ohio's largest physician-owned orthopedic practice with 60 physicians in every specialty. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One. This is where you go to get better.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. Sundays at 11, it's The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. You're welcome.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
Consider the possibility of color. That possibility awakens every spring in your garden and is limited only by your imagination. It's the Parade of Color at Oakland Nursery, and it takes form in so many ways. Hand-potted #1 grade roses in thousands of varieties start at just $29.99. Premium quality annuals just $2.99 a pack. Flowering hanging baskets start at $16.99. Imagine the possibility of color during the Parade of Color at Oakland Nursery. For 85 years, possibilities start at Oakland Nursery.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin. Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone, and I'm going to let you know that right now, Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings is offering their best discount of the year on all their awesome sheds, pavilions, cabins, and garages from Weaver Barnes. These specials are only good through May, which makes right now the best time to order. Check out Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings' beautiful sales lot in Dublin, where you can see their displays and learn about all the options. There's never been a better time to get that project in motion and save some cash in the process. See all the details at AmishCountryFurnishings.com. Once again, that's AmishCountryFurnishings.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for the weekend. We're looking ahead to a mix of clouds and sunshine. We'll see high temperatures into the lower 70s here for today, but it will also be quite windy. Winds out the north and west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy, lows into the lower 50s, and we'll see more sunshine here on Sunday with highs into the lower 70s before we track cooler temperatures and rain here as we head into next week. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Beautiful Saturday here in Columbus, Ohio. A great day for golf. Also a great day to watch some golf. The second major of the season. PGA Championship in full swing right now down at Quail Hollow in Charlotte. One of our station's own, Jacob Reimer, is actually down there taking it in today at Quail Hollow. A little Saturday moving day at Quail Hollow. There's been a lot said about the golf course this week. Dane, have you heard any of this stuff about Quail Hollow? People's complaints about the course?
Nope. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so the situation here is that, you think about the Masters every year is at Augusta. That's a golf course that's always difficult. It takes a lot of strategy when you play that. You can play the course a bunch of different ways. The U.S. Open, I think you always expect the conditions to be extremely tough at the U.S. Open. It's a grind. It takes strategy to work your way around whatever course the U.S. Open is at. The Open Championship is the same way. You go overseas, and it's the same way. The conditions are always very, very tough. Wind, rain, the golf courses, it's all difficult. The PGA Championship, there's been some conversation that maybe some of the golf courses they play this major at are just not up to par, pun intended, with some of the other major championship golf. Quail Hollow is a place that it's on the PGA Tour every single season. There's a normal tournament at Quail Hollow, which I think takes a little bit of the allure away from this tournament, right? You think about some other golf courses that will host a U.S. Open that have a normal event, like Pebble Beach, for example, will host the Pebble Beach Pro-Am and U.S. Open in the same year on occasion. Torrey Pines, it'll happen there. But there's something about those golf courses, right? They're legendary. Torrey Pines, legendary golf course in the San Diego area. Pebble Beach, legendary golf course in the Northern California area, central to Northern California. They're historic, right? Quail Hollow just doesn't have the same allure as some of those golf courses. So that was something going into this weekend that many of the golfers were complaining about. That, I don't know if it has the same vibe, for lack of a better word. Like, this doesn't have the feel of, oh man, we're going to go see this new cool golf course that we don't play all the time. It's going to be a great challenge for us. Instead, it's, we're going to go back to this place that we already know. It doesn't take a whole lot of strategy to play. That's one of the other things, as the golfers have talked about, that you can just kind of hit the ball far off the tee at Quail Hollow. There's not a whole lot of plotting your way around the golf course. It's just a bomber's paradise in some respects. And the conditions this week, I think, play to that. Charlotte got a lot of rain coming in, so it's a softer golf course, a little bit firmer, or not firmer, a little bit more receptive. But with all this said, the guys that you would expect to be there in a major aren't really high on the leaderboard. Right now, the leader is Jonathan Vegas at 8 under par through 2 rounds. He shot 64 on Thursday, then 70 yesterday, including a double bogey on the 18th hole. So he very well could have been at 10 under, leading Matthew Pavone by 4 strokes going into Saturday. But you've got Jonathan Vegas at 8 under par, Pavone and Matt Fitzpatrick both there at 6 under. Siwoo Kim, Max Homa there as well, rounding out the top 5. And then you've got Scotty Scheffler lurking at 5 under as well, right there tied with Max Homa. So it's not the usual, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, Scotty Scheffler, Ludwig Aberg, some of these names that are typically just plastering the top 5, top 10 in a major championship. Instead, you've got the likes of Jonathan Vegas, Matthew Pavone, Siwoo Kim is in the mix on occasion. It's nice to see Max Homa back. He started the year really, really bad, but started to get back on track in the Masters and has played some better golf since then. But it's not necessarily what you want to see. The PGA Tour, I don't think they're always going to be happy with putting on a big golf tournament like this, but I think you'd like some of your big dogs to be there.
Few things. I do think that Quail Hollow is an all-timer name.
Yeah, sick
I
name.
think that is a solid golf course name.
Mm-hmm.
Not having been there myself, I would like that to sit in the elite realm. First thing I thought was that's a heck of a name. 2, there's always something funny about golf complaining. It's just
I agree 100%
it is the most
with you.
like it just falls on deaf ears to me a lot of times because it's so country club complaint. Like, okay, sorry guys.
What's also funny
it doesn't
about
have
this,
a feel to you.
What's funny about this is it doesn't have that feel, and then none of them are in the top 5, top 10.
I think that's really interesting, and that's a good. I think it's funny that you led into it that way, and that this is its perception, and here's the leaderboard, because golf is one of those sports that feels like very similar to other high-end sports. If you've ever seen even a low-tier PGA player, they are lights out.
So good.
It is a different level altogether, that the guys that are on the PGA Tour are so close in talent that it seems like the gap that separates them is the guys that are a little bit mentally different and that like the daunting challenges of some of these other courses. And they can naturally just step up and take those challenges. So the other majors that come along, yeah, those courses are intimidating. They have the mystique. Augusta has the mystique. When you're out in St. Andrews, you're like, oh, man. The guys that you always see at the leaderboard, yes, they're incredible golfers, but they have something mental. They have something there that's like, they like that, where the normal PGA Tour middle-of-the-road player might not be able to handle it, especially a Sunday at St. Andrews or a Sunday at Augusta. So it actually makes sense that when you have a course that is just like they feel is so, maybe it's hard for them to tap into that. Maybe it's hard. Maybe they're just feeling like normal golfers and like the Jonathan Vegases of the world, like, this is my time. They're not paying attention. They don't have their eye on the ball. I know this course. I know how to get around this one. We've played this before. So that actually, it's a really interesting thing. I didn't hear that chatter before the tournament, but yeah, if you're the PGA, you don't want this.
Yeah,
if you're the PGA, you want this to be special and you want your names to be there on the leaderboard. But that's really that's an interesting way to view this tournament.
I think what is fun is that moving day to day, and then of course we'll see what the scores are after today and tomorrow. It could be fireworks, like all these guys that haven't been here before, like trying to close out a golf tournament, a major golf tournament at that. Like that could be a lot of fun.
They just fall apart.
And like, of course, you've got Scotty Scheffler, the #1 player in the world, just lurking. Like today, he could go absolutely nuclear and go 10 under and be leading this tournament by 5 strokes going into tomorrow. But you do look at the guys that were cut. Like there are some huge names cut. Dustin Johnson did not make the cut. You go up and down this list. Phil Mickelson, Brooks Koepka, Justin Rose, who of course finished second in the playoff to Rory in the Masters. He missed the cut. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Cameron Smith, Patrick Cantlay, Jason Day, all these top golfers in the world did not make the cut in this tournament. So that is maybe what's lacking, because in the majors, everybody wants to see these huge names, the Xander Schauffele's of the world, the Scotty Schefflers of the world. Again, Ludwig Aberg, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, all these guys. They want to see them there at the top battling it out. Like that's what made the Masters so fun a couple of months ago, is that all these guys were right there, and it was very cool. It was very cool watching them battle and hit these big golf shots. But I think you just need to look at it with a little bit different of a perspective, maybe going into tomorrow in what I just said, and that, hey, this could be fun with a lot of guys who haven't closed a tournament before being hunted by a couple of guys who have closed tournaments before. It's just a new perspective.
Yeah, that's the draw for a weekend that's shaping up like this one to watch a tournament. It is usually when the golfers start to get squeaky about something, they get their way. It'd be interesting to see how the PGA looks at the U.S. Open moving forward, because you can't really put it at one location. It's not the Masters. It's always traditionally bounced around to these different places.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you really solve it, or if they're just saying like, hey, just pick a course that's at least a little out there, or at least has an air of difficulty to it that is something that we don't see on everyday tour. And that's what I think the majors have in common, is that they ask the guys to do something that is beyond like normal golf that they would do, at any course. They all have that little bit of finesse to it. And even if on a course like Augusta, it has its challenges, but the little bit that's different is the pressure. The pressure is always very apparent at Augusta, but they do all have a little bit of something different to them.
Yeah, so the way it works, too, in the U.S. Open and PGA Championship, they book these years in advance. So, like the PGA Championship this year at Quail Hollow, they've got it booked out essentially to 2034.
And I called it the U.S. Open, PGA Championship.
They do it for both, but the U.S. Open is typically a little bit more... Those are those big hitter courses.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm looking at the PGA Championship for the next few years. It's a mix. That's the thing. Like, there's a mix of some of these big hitter courses they don't always play at, and some of these other ones where you're like, I don't know if this is worthy of a major necessarily. So it's booked out, but I agree with you. Like, I think the PGA Tour and just the golf world in general is typically receptive to the feelings of the golfers, and I think the fans too. Like, a lot of the chatter, because the U.S. Open, this year is going to be in Pittsburgh, and a lot of people have talked about, this is going to be so cool at Oakmont. It's going to be a really tough course. And that's been a little bit more of the conversation, and it's being talked about more so than the PGA Championship. So I think you probably feel that a little bit, and you're like, okay, maybe we need to make some changes. You see what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I do. And I think that'll be... They'll do something.
Yeah.
Usually they address it if they get to this point. They need to keep that excitement around a major.
Have you seen a couple of the delays this week at Quail Hollow and what's happened and why?
What is it, Gators?
So they've had a couple of snapping turtles, and yesterday they had a snake slithering across the fairway. So no gators, but one of the most famous alligators in golf has passed away, sadly. We'll tell you about it next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores, so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, Private Selection Angus 90% lean ground sirloin is on sale. 1 pound packages are only $5.77 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Common Man here. Get 50% off your windows plus no interest and no payments for 12 months and a free entry door with purchase. Restrictions apply. Give them a call, 614-502-5220. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio is your Medicaid plan for more benefits, more rewards. We know that good health means more than just seeing a doctor when you're sick. Eligible members can receive extras like home-delivered meals and family essentials, like baby carriers and kids' school supplies. Members can even earn rewards for playing mobile health trivia games. Learn more at AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com and call the Ohio Medicaid Consumer Hotline at 1-800-324-8680 to choose AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio.
It's child's play to donate your car, truck, RV, or boat to Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio. They'll pick it up free of charge, steer you through the paperwork, and a hefty tax deduction rolls your way as you help provide a home away from home for families of seriously ill hospitalized children. For more information about donating your vehicle to Ronald McDonald House Charities, visit rmhc-centralohio.org or call 614-CARS-HELP. That's 614-CARS-HELP.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Fan Sports Saturday, Dylan Tyre, Dane Sanzenbacher, Cole Bartemus here with you. It's time to talk Gators, and we're not talking Florida football. You ever watch Happy Gilmore, Dane?
Oh, yeah. More times than that's an all-timer when you were born in I was born in 1988. I'm 36. That was right at the time when I would think that is the best movie of all time. And that was about all my friend group watched from like middle school and junior high. Well, this was the Happy Gilmore era of comedies. The Adam Sandler era.
Yeah. I love those movies too. And this is honestly timely with Happy Gilmore 2 in the news. I don't know if this is a publicity stunt or what, but Morris is the alligator they used in that movie that, of course, takes Chubbs' hand, and Happy Gilmore finds him later and tries to fight him. Morris has passed away at over 80 years old, they say. So they've done he was living on an alligator farm in southern Colorado, if you can believe it. Southern Colorado with the alligator farm. But based on his growth rate and tooth loss, Morris the alligator, they figured, was at least 80 years old when he died. Quite an interesting story behind him. He was found in the backyard of a Los Angeles home as an illegal pet, and he started his Hollywood career in 1975. He then retired in 2006 and was sent to the Colorado Gator Farm in Mosca, Colorado. And he's not just from Happy Gilmore. He was in some other movies. Interview with the Vampire, Dr. Dolittle 2, Blues Brothers 2000, and he also appeared in a few different TV shows. He was also on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. So this guy's been around, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about Morris the Gator because it's PGA Championship week. He's a big golf guy, Morris the Gator, and unfortunately, he passed away.
Where do you think he falls in the animal stars?
Oh,
there are some stars that like animals that make their rounds and probably considered actors.
Does Air Bud count? Is like Air Bud the 1-1 pick there?
No, I would think the Gator from Happy Gilmore.
Do you think he's bigger than Air Bud?
There's going to be some that we're not thinking of that have appeared in.
Did you ever watch those like Most Valuable Primate movies with the monkey? He played hockey. He was a skateboarder. Cole, have you seen those? The Most Valuable Primates? Oh man, those are good movies. You should check those out. But he's big. Morris the Gator is a big time Gator.
It's a really funny one because like it's a funny topic because it's like, yeah, it's sad that the Gator died, but then it's also like the people that have acted with him are now like posting and having takes on it, but you're not also like, they can't be too seriously mourning him, but them doing this dance is really funny to look at.
Well, so here's the thing. You talk about these people kind of memorializing him and in the tone surrounding it. Adam Sandler had a nice post where he said, we're all going to miss you. You could be hard on directors, makeup artists, costumes, really anyone with arms or legs, but I know you did it for the ultimate good of the film. The day you wouldn't come out of your trailer unless we sent in 40 heads of lettuce taught me a powerful lesson. Never compromise your art. Morris is actually going to be taxidermied as well. He's very famous. He's going to be taxidermied, kept around the Colorado Gator Farm just because he's Morris. You know, you got to keep him around.
Very funny post from them about that, too. It said, we decided to get Morris taxidermied so that he can continue to scare children for years to come. It's what he would have wanted.
So I think that tells you the tone, right?
That's the tone of it. No, it is, underappreciated. You don't really think about whatever came of that Gator. He put in a lot of work in that movie. He made multiple appearances. He died in the movie, too.
Yeah. I was shocked to hear that he was 80 years old. Like, I did not know alligators live to be 80 years old.
I hadn't thought about it. They kind of look like dinosaurs. I wouldn't have been surprised, though, if you told me alligators live to be 150 years old.
Yeah, I guess, like tortoises, I guess.
They're in the same,
upwards of like 200 sometimes.
They're in that same realm to me.
Yeah. Man, Morris.
Do you think, well, this is a little morbid. Carl Weathers has also passed away. Mm-hmm. So Chubbs, in that famous scene from the movie when they're both up in heaven and they're friends again and they're waving. Do you think we're getting reuniting here?
Yeah, I mean, and it's more likely than not.
And then we're going to get on the heels of, I think Carl Weathers passed away in 24? It couldn't have been that long ago.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know
last
that one
year.
off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think last year. So it was recently. All of this happening right before release of Happy Gilmore 2. Even that's one of those movies, even if it's reviewed terrible, I'll need to see.
Well,
they plucked it out for people like me.
This is what I wanted to ask you, because I was actually debating this with my buddy the other day. Do you think Happy Gilmore 2 will be able to capture the magic of the original Happy Gilmore? And I'm going to swerve on this because I feel like everybody is going to say no. That movie is so stupid and has just so much fun stuff in it. I think they're going to be able to do it. Like Adam Sandler had a lot of big movies, but I think everybody thinks back to like Happy Gilmore being the one. I think he's going to put so much into it that it's going to do it.
I would agree with you.
Yes,
I think
let's
it
go.
can probably end up being. Now, it won't have the same air because that's the original.
Right.
And it will always have a nostalgic place for people, but it is so dumb. It is like the things that happen are, and it's supposed to be. Like, that's the appeal of it. It's in the same guy's hands, though. I have to imagine, like, and this has been his wheelhouse. He dabbles in and out of, like, trying to do good movies here, but he's put himself into, like, a Hollywood position. He makes what he wants.
Yeah.
He knows some of the movies he's making probably aren't that good. He hires the same people to be in them. Like, you're going to have that same, like, you know, Happy Madison production guys, I would imagine, throughout this film, like you had in Mr. Deeds, like you had in all of these. So, yeah. And it's a subject, like, golf movies are pretty fun. Yeah. You can, like, do a lot with that. And, you know, Tin Cup had, like, a serious version of an outsider into the golf world, but the outsider in the golf world is just hysterical as a premise. So, yeah, putting Happy Gilmore back in there, I don't even know. I have not looked at anything about how they're going to try to do it. Is he supposed to be like, what has he been doing between then and now? Did he go back to hockey? Is it like, what's the new angle of him coming? Is Shooter McGavin going to be there? These are things that could lend this to be an actual decent follow-up to a cult classic.
I'm glad we're on the same page with this because I'm going into it just like you with absolutely no expectations. Like, I think Shooter McGavin is going to be in it. Like, that's one of the few confirmed things that's happened across my social media page or I've seen online. Otherwise, I have no idea what's going to happen in this movie. Frankly, I would have figured Morris the Alligator would have been in this movie. Yeah. Maybe he will. We don't know. Maybe they're just teasing us and we don't know.
Yeah, maybe he was in it. Maybe they filmed already.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's also one of those endlessly quoted movies.
I cannot wait to see Happy Gilmore 2.
Like, how many times have I had to hit it off Bigfoot's fat foot? Play the ball as it lies. And it's like all these things were just like, these were just like Happy Gilmore was built into people who are my age or around my age. It's like childhoods and junior highs.
You said it. Happy Gilmore was a hockey player first. So when we come back, why don't we talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs? That's next. It's Fan Sports Saturday right here on The Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle in Market District. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting lower prices. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle. Experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle today to see how easy it is to save.
Get Eco.
ECO. Aaron, which brand of air conditioner is the most energy efficient?
It's the one that's had its outside coils cleaned correctly.
Well, I can wash those off with a garden hose, right?
No.
Why not?
Humidity mixes with dust and pollen to create a microthin film of sticky paste that gets baked onto those hot outside coils.
And that baked-on stuff keeps my coils from releasing their heat into the atmosphere.
Which means your system has to run longer, which uses a lot more energy and it shortens the life of your air conditioner.
Get Eco.
ECO. How do we get that baked-on stuff off?
Remove the exterior shroud, then spray the coils from the inside out with a special eco-friendly solvent.
Can I rinse the solvent off with a garden hose?
Yeah, but only from the inside out.
Or I could just pay Eco to do it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco doesn't take shortcuts. We do it the right way every time.
Get Eco professional coil cleaning for just $468.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasterFord.net. Thanks.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And now through May 31st, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now with Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down per $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen.
That's just you drinking a Big Gulp from Speedway.
And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a hit. The convenience stores of Speedway. Fill out through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone, and I'm going to let you know that right now, Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings is offering their best discount of the year on all their awesome sheds, pavilions, cabins, and garages from Weaver Barnes. These specials are only good through May, which makes right now the best time to order. Check out Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings' beautiful sales lot in Dublin, where you can see their displays and learn about all the options. There's never been a better time to get that project in motion and save some cash in the process. See all the details at AmishCountryFurnishings.com. Once again, that's AmishCountryFurnishings.com.
Save big money on your entire roofing project at Menards. Your roof is the first line of defense against the elements and represents up to 40% of your home's exterior. Owens Corning Architectural Shingles offer ultimate protection and impressive curb appeal. Choose from over 40 options and save big money on all Owens Corning shingles now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall from my friends at Orthopedic One, Central Ohio's most trusted orthopedic practice. 2 years ago, I was actually experiencing hip pain for the first time in my life, and I knew I needed the best. So I chose Orthopedic One for my physical therapy needs. And in a matter of weeks, I was rotating that golf swing better than before, and I was the longest hitter in my group again. So be like me and trust Orthopedic One. Several convenient locations around Central Ohio. To find a physician or location near you, go to www.orthopedic1.com.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay, moving up payday so you could get your money faster, up to 2 days faster. And there's no cost. It's your money, right? So stop playing the waiting game. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Tremendous sports weekend. We already talked about the PGA Championship. The NFL schedule is out. We dabbled in some NBA conversation, which we'll get to in the next hour. One thing we haven't talked about yet, Dane, is the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's something that I'm pretty well versed on compared to you. So
It's something that when we start talking, I'm just going to be like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to let you fire away. If you want to ask me anything about the Stanley Cup playoffs here, what you want to know. But I'll lead things off saying we've got a big game tonight. We've got Game 6 at 8 o'clock between the Winnipeg Jets and the Dallas Stars. Dallas, if they win this game, will be moving on to the Western Conference Final to take on Connor McDavid, the best player in the world, and the Edmonton Oilers. And then tomorrow, we, of course, have the Nuggets and Thunder Game 7. That's at 3:30. Another Game 7 upon the conclusion of that one. But in the NHL, Game 7 between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers. So some big-time puck going on these next couple of nights with the series on the line.
What are you most looking forward to of these games?
So I'm really excited for tomorrow's game between the Leafs and the Panthers. There's just been lots of intrigue on either side. The Florida Panthers are the defending Stanley Cup champions from last season. They've got a great roster with really a little bit of everything. Like they've got a lot of scoring punch, but what the Panthers are really known for, they've also got a great goalie, Sergei Bobrovsky, who used to be in net for the Blue Jackets. But what they're really known for is being kind of the thorn in the side of the opponent, the team that pisses everybody off. They've got some real instigators on their team. Matthew Tkachuk, who is maybe he's kind of the face of instigators that are also superstar style players in the NHL. Brad Marchand, who is the rat of the NHL, was traded from the Boston Bruins to the Florida Panthers at the deadline, something nobody thought would ever happen.
So they're just making this the identity of the team.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We're just going to be, you're going to hate us.
Yeah, they are just the rats.
They're the villain.
Yes, that is a great way to put it, because I would say before it was the Tampa Bay Lightning were the team that were going to the Stanley Cup, winning the Stanley Cup every other year, it felt like. And they kind of became the villains just because they were the team that kept on winning. And then last year, it was these underdog, upstart Panthers that people were like, man, this team is fun. They get in your face. They score a lot of goals. They've got a great goalie. They're just a fun team. They still are. But now they're kind of the villain in a way because they play that same way and they're the favorite, right? That's just kind of what happens. And on the other side of this series, you've got the Toronto Maple Leafs, who play in the center of the hockey universe. They've got crazy fans, crazy media that are just so into the Maple Leafs up there north of the border, and they're a team that's trying to get over the hump. They keep making it to the playoffs. They've got a superstar roster. Austin Matthews, maybe the best American player, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, all these different guys, William Nylander. They went up in the series 2-0. They won both their games at home. They went on the road, couldn't get it done. Florida beat them in Toronto to go up 3-2, but the last game last night, the Maple Leafs shut out the Panthers 2-0 in Florida, so now they're going back to Toronto for Game 7 tomorrow. So that's what we're looking at here, and all the narrative is that the stars of the Maple Leafs can't get it done. They don't got the horses, they don't have the dogs to get it done, but now we get a Game 7 between this team that's trying to get over the hump and then the villains who have been there before.
Dude, sold.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, right?
That was a really good. Yeah, and we're going back to Toronto for some hockey. Game 7.
Yeah.
And that's the matchup. And obviously the Panthers are going to be chippier than ever, I would imagine, pulling out all the stops.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. And so that game is to go to
the Western Conference.
The Western Conference.
No, that's to go to the Eastern Conference Final. Excuse me. The Eastern Conference Final will be against the Carolina Hurricanes. So you'll get the Hurricanes versus the Maple Leafs or the Florida Panthers. I would say right now that I like the winner of the game tomorrow to beat the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina is tough, but they're another team that they can't quite make it to the Stanley Cup final. They've done it like every year they're in the playoffs. They're a great team in the regular season, but they play this style of hockey that's just, it's really hard to replicate in the playoffs on a nightly basis. They just try to grind you down. They put a bunch of pucks on net. They don't give you any space, but it's just hard to do on a nightly basis. So that's the thing for me. You know, some people have called the Carolina Hurricanes boring too. They just beat the Washington Capitals, and a lot of people weren't super engaged with that series because of it. But I think both the Maple Leafs and the Panthers are better teams than the Carolina Hurricanes. On the other side, you've got the Winnipeg Jets and the Dallas Stars this evening. Winnipeg, their goaltender, Connor Hellebuyck, might be the MVP of the NHL this season. He is going to win the Vezina Trophy as the best goaltender in the NHL. They are another team that are always awesome during the regular season. They have been for the last 3, 4, 5 years. Great during the regular season. Hellebuck, he's an American. He was the starting goalie for Team USA in the Four Nations.
Hell, the last name.
Yeah, Hellebuck. He is amazing during the regular season. Dynamite. Like I said, he may win the MVP of the NHL this season as a goaltender. Doesn't happen often. In the playoffs, he stinks.
No.
Yeah. But he shut out Dallas in the last game. He's done it a couple of times this series. The problem with the Winnipeg Jets is they cannot win on the road. They can only win at home in the playoffs.
They can't Winnipeg on the road?
They cannot Winnipeg on the road. They only Winnipeg in Winnipeg. So tonight's game against the Dallas Stars, they're going to try to have to pull one out on the road to keep this thing moving on.
Who was in the West? Who was in the championship, the Stanley Cup Finals last year from the West? Who did the Panthers?
The Edmonton Oilers.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I thought.
Yes. So
because it was McDavid was the big story of everybody wanted this dude to finally get his championship, right?
Yes.
He has not won one yet.
Yes. Yeah. The MVP of the playoffs is called the Conn Smythe. He won the Conn Smythe despite losing the Stanley Cup, which is that just doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. So McDavid, and the interesting thing here is, like, I think the Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup this season. The interesting thing about the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid, they've got Leon Draisaitl, who very well might be a top 5 player in the NHL as well. The thing about Connor McDavid and this team is nobody was talking about them, it felt like, going into the playoffs. They had a so-so regular season. McDavid was banged up, specifically coming out of the Four Nations face-off, which he won. He scored the overtime winner to beat Team USA. But he didn't play a whole lot towards the end of the season. He's come back and really ramped things up in the playoffs. Draisaitl, he's another guy who might win the Hart Trophy as the MVP of the NHL this season, has had a great year. Those guys are their dogs. The thing last year was it was all them. They were just dragging the team. This year, Edmonton's got that depth. Their guys in the bottom 6, their complementary players are scoring. They are helping out Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Those guys don't need to do as much. So that is why I like the Oilers. And the Oilers, by the way, if they almost got knocked out in the first round by the LA Kings. The Kings look fantastic. The Oilers came from behind every game to win that series. Like, if they go down in a game, they're just going to come back and win.
Guys, if you're not locked in, folks, and fired up about hockey now, I feel like that is so useful to have the Cliff Note versions of where we're at in the season. Mm-hmm. So as you look at it right now, you think obviously the Oilers are going to be the representative out of the West. Would you rather see a rematch of the Panthers Oilers, or would you like to see the Maple Leafs make a run there to have that franchise meet up with this Oilers as kind of like historic, not even historic, but like these hockey titans, at least, Canadian hockey titans?
Yeah, so what I will say is, I'll say if it's Stars Oilers in the Western Conference Final, that's going to be a banger of a series. It's going to be a great. I want to see Maple Leafs Oilers in the Stanley Cup Final. 2 Canadian teams facing off. I mean, it's going to be crazy. Like, it's going to be crazy. Like you said, 2 titans of hockey. You're going to have Matthews on one side, McDavid on the other, yes. Nylander and Marner and Tavares, Leon Draisaitl,
we need that.
Bouchard, all these guys. It's going to be, it would be crazy. But no matter what, like Panthers, Oilers, Stars, whoever makes it to the final out of kind of those groups of teams that we're talking about there, it's going to be good. It is going to be good.
Beautiful.
So I cut a promo right there. I hope you liked it. I hope you're educated enough on the Stanley Cup playoffs to feel good.
Yep.
All right. Well, it's time for another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about something that you know better, Buckeye football. I know a lot of people are upset right now about Ohio State and Texas kicking at noon, but some new legislation has been proposed to make big-time noon games a thing of the past. We'll discuss next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores, so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Check out this fresh deal on General Mills Giant Size cereal. Select 20 to 29 ounce varieties are 3 for only $10 when you buy 3 with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate
today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Get Mega May discounts at Codland Kia. Lease a new Kia K4, only $89 a month for 24 months. Or get 1.9% financing for 48 months. Or $2,000 bonus cash on a new 25 Kia Sportage or Sorrento. Visit CodlandKia.com.
$49.99 due at signing. 10,000 miles per year. 20 cents per mile over. Tax, title, and license fees excluded. No security deposit. $400 disposition fee at lease end. 1.9 for 48 equals $21.65 for 1,005. With approved credit through KMF. Residency restrictions may apply. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for details. N6225.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's a good boy? Oh, who's what? Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Nate Puderball. Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinals saw the New York Knicks eliminate the Boston Celtics 119-81, winning the series 4-2. Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby led the way for the Knicks with 23 points apiece, and Josh Hart added a triple-double in the win. In the NHL, the Maple Leafs forced Game 7 in the Eastern Conference semifinals, beating the Panthers 2-0. Austin Matthews broke a scoreless tie in the third, and Joseph Wall stopped all 22 shots. Game 7 comes your way this Sunday. And down in Cincinnati, the Reds won Game 1 of the Ohio Cup, beating the Guardians 5-4. Will Benson hit a 3-run shot in the second, and Austin Hayes added a solo shot. Brian Singer earned his 5th win, allowing 3 runs and 3 hits in 5 innings. Catch Game 2 tonight on The Fan. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Dylan Tyre, Dane Sonsenbacher, Cole Bartemus with you on a Saturday afternoon. We just passed into Saturday afternoon, 12:02. I want to talk a little Ohio State football. Earlier this week, and well, actually, I should bring it up because it's noon right now, right, Dane? It's noon, and people are upset that Ohio State is playing so many noon football games.
It's a great time for a football game right now. It's a good time of day.
This would be a great time for a football game.
No, we love this time of year. Did you hear all the hockey that's about to come around the corner?
It's tonight, though. It's tonight. Dude. No,
hockey
but
season.
So the big issue going on right now, and I don't even know if it is an issue, but it's an issue to a lot of Ohio State fans, is that folks are upset that Ohio State is playing so many noon games. Big noon kickoff, essentially, on Fox. The OSU-Texas game is, I think, really what triggered this, right? That it sounds like this OSU-Texas game is going to kick off at noon. The first game of the season for Ohio State, playing Texas. It's going to be a big deal. People want to have fun. People want it to be a night game because I think there's this aura. There's the allure of the best game every week needs to be a night game.
So it's not announced, but that's what people are thinking, the direction this is going?
Yeah, it was like, it was loosely...
Okay, hinted at that,
loosely hinted at that. Hey, this is what it's sounding like.
Okay,
it's leaked that that's what it's going to be. So I think you and I are kind of in the same boat on this, in that, like, give me an October, November Big Ten night game. I'm in on that. I do not care that Ohio State is playing this Texas game at noon, prospectively. Like, I like it. I like it. All eyes are going to be on it. It's going to be one of the first big college football games of the year. Start your day fired up on a Saturday. I just feel like playing at noon is kind of a Buckeye thing. Like, the Michigan game's at noon. That's when Ohio State plays big game. I get it. College football playoff, that's all going to be at night, things like that. But I don't know.
I'm with you. I can understand it got a little bit tiresome last year.
Yes.
I think people, especially, Dylan, you're talking to somebody who does the pre-game show for this fine station, which a noon game means we start at 6 a.m. right there on Lane Avenue. And that gets really early. So I'm all for if you guys want to bump them back. But I think this is bleed over from last year of like, hey, are we going to do every single game at noon? I do think, and somebody, if we have a chat up who can correct me on it, I think there was something written in that Ohio State and Michigan can't schedule late season night games.
Yeah, it's got to be noon.
Something along those lines. Well, not even against each other. I think that like later in the year, like in November, we'll have to fact check me on that. But
yeah, we've got to chat. If somebody's out here watching or listening right now, and
I'm vaguely remembering there is something to do with like we don't ever have night games that are late in the year. They're usually either early or somewhat mid.
Yeah, Penn State is the latest I can think
remember
of in all likelihood, right?
And that's
November usually, sometime around then.
I didn't even know it was that late.
Early November. That's happened before.
That's why we have other people look these things up. Right. Yeah, Not Cole, not you, man. I was talking about
He's busy back
I was talking about the chat to chime in. So I get that. Yet noon games don't bother me much because when I'm not doing the pregame show, I'm kind of cool with I like that time of day. We were on vacation actually that was in Central Time recently, or maybe it was even out on Pacific Time. But anyways, there's something nice about like college football and coffee. It's like when you wake up in the morning, it's like, this is actually a nice time slot. Now, if you're doing them 6 in a row and you're actually going to the games, it gets to be like, this is a really early time for this experience. But you can see the reasons why they end up in those slots. I will say, and we can talk about the all noon games and why it gets there. There's a piece of this that could be okay for Ohio State. You're going to have a young, inexperienced quarterback. I think you give yourself a better chance at noon than having it wait all day to be that night big kickoff game. I know as a fan, it's cool, it's fun.
Yeah.
But if you're just being a selfish Ohio State person, you're like, having the first game of the year be Texas itself is big enough. I don't know that I want to throw my young, unproven quarterback into the fire at 7 or 8 p.m. in the shoe against Texas. I mean, like, so you might, for your own success, we might kind of want that noon game. But yeah, there's obviously reasons that Ohio State keeps on ending up at noon.
Oh, that's a veteran point by you right there, Dane. I loved that one. But I bring all this up because earlier this week, an Ohio representative, a state representative here, proposed a bill that would make it a crime. It would end all Ohio State noon games, big time matchups, those the top 25 matchups outside of Michigan. They could not play the games at noon. This reminds me of the can't plant the flag bill. Remember that one? It's the same thing. It's of the same ilk. It's like, I don't know.
I don't think you can execute it. I don't think it would.
It's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Maybe it's a little publicity grab here for our state politician, but man, oh man, there's some crazy Buckeye fans out there for sure.
I don't know. There's only a few solutions to it, right? That would require some bending from Ohio State fans that are mad about this. Here, an option one: Michigan could get better.
Ooh.
You would want Michigan to be better because what Michigan would then do is be chosen for some of those noon time slots by Fox Big Noon. You need to have your big programs be alluring enough to take that spot because they'll draw a national audience. So Ohio State fans that are mad, if you want to root for Michigan to be better this year, we can get more 3:30 games, but there's a trade-off there. And I think, too, as the Big Ten has expanded, those West Coast teams, they're not, Oregon is USC, UCLA are not going to play 9 a.m. games. So it's really like, if you're Fox, you have this Big Ten, draft. Who do we want? Who is going to be best for our ratings? Well, so long as the other big dog, Michigan, is struggling, not going to pull a lot of eyeballs or not be top 10 ranked, we can't have any of these West Coast teams. Who do you think we're going to pick? That's how they end up every Saturday doing Big Noon in Columbus. So there's some ways out, but I think it's a sign of your program is really good if Fox wants you like that at every one of those games. But that's, you and I have already talked, like noon doesn't really bother me. It's actually a good time. It's nap time for the kid. It's just like, noon works.
It is a good point by you in that, hey, the rest of the Big Ten needs to get a little bit better,
if you can have and not only the rest of the Big Ten, though, that's the thing. It has to be, Ohio State's unique in drawing this national audience.
Yes.
So as far as the Big Ten, USC would check that box. Oregon would check that box, but you'd have to get them traveling to the East Coast or Eastern time zone to play one of these other teams that is also pretty good. So the other Big Ten teams need to be highly ranked and also have the cachet to have a national audience. You're pretty much talking Ohio State, Michigan, or, maybe Wisconsin gets there, but Penn State maybe. If you can get Penn State ranked, maybe you could pull Oregon coming to Penn State or USC at Penn State as that game. But so there's ways to avoid it. But as long as, Fox is trying to directly compete with the ESPN stranglehold on college football, then as long as Ohio State's still good, wake up early, folks.
Yeah,
we're gonna be at noon.
I'm thinking the same thing. Ohio State's too good, is what you're saying right now, and the rest of the Big Ten is lacking. Like, another thing here is we're talking, of course, later in the season when it's Big Ten matchups, scheduling is scheduling, right? Like, Ohio State can't really affect who they're playing in Week 9. That's just up to the Big Ten to schedule that. But the Buckeyes are scheduling big games early in the season. Not everybody is scheduling a top 5, top 3, top 2 matchup potentially in this scenario Week 1.
Yeah,
some other teams are scheduling cupcake matchups early on.
Well, just the nature of what Big Noon is and is trying to do now has shaken up that model that we all got used to in like the old version of the Big Ten and old version of college football, that the better the matchup was, the later it got bumped. So and I still think of it in the eyes of like, oh, that's at least a 3:30 game. Maybe a 7, maybe it's a night game. That was like your barrier of it. Well, I don't think that's the reality anymore. Because we thought last year, like, okay, Indiana's really good this year. Ohio State's good. That's like a top 10 matchup, I think, at the time. Noon. It's like, oh, well, this is at least, why wouldn't this be 3:30? Well, because it's a good game. And the good game slot is financed by the noon broadcast. And that's how you end up there. So it's just a different, maybe Fox gets to a point, if people are stopped watching it, which they won't, that it becomes the big 3:30 kickoff. Maybe they'll rebrand. Yeah. Maybe they'll move their time slot.
The big after dark.
Yeah, the big afternoon, almost dark. The big second half will be the lights on. Second half night game. Yeah, I don't know.
I will say
these are Uptown problems. These are Ohio State problems.
Yes,
these are defending national championship fan problems.
Certainly, I understand the frustration for sure. It is what it is. Night games are fun, but so are top 3, top 2 matchups to kick off the season at noon in the shoe. It's cool. I like that type of stuff.
Fox likes us. They really like us.
They do. They do. Well, 2 great words in college football are Big Noon, are Ohio State. Maybe the 2 best words in sports, Game 7, and we've got one in the NBA tomorrow. Who will it be, the Nuggets or the Thunder? We'll discuss next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen.
That's just you drinking a Big Gulp from Speedway.
And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a hit. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. It is a big sale at Universal Windows Direct. You're getting an incredible 50% off your windows. That's half off, and it gets even better. For a limited time, you get no interest and no payments for 12 months. That's a whole year. I got to tell you when something's half and when something's a year. You also get a free entry door with your window purchase. Schedule your free in-home estimate today. Give them a call, 614-502-5220, or visit universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
It's child's play to donate your car, truck, RV, or boat to Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio. They'll pick it up free of charge, steer you through the paperwork, and a hefty tax deduction rolls your way as you help provide a home away from home for families of seriously ill hospitalized children. For more information about donating your vehicle to Ronald McDonald House Charities, visit rmhc-centralohio.org or call 614-CARS-HELP. That's 614-CARS-HELP.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for the weekend. We're looking ahead to a mix of clouds and sunshine. We'll see high temperatures into the lower 70s here for today, but it will also be quite windy. Winds out the north and west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy, lows into the lower 50s, and we'll see more sunshine here on Sunday with highs into the lower 70s before we track cooler temperatures and rain here as we head into next week. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Dylan Tyre, Dane Sonsenbacher, Cole Bartemus here with you. NBA playoffs. I'm pumped up for tomorrow's Game 7. Thunder playing host to the Nuggets. This has been a really good series so far, back and forth.
I was just thinking McDonald's should capitalize on this and just like one night only sell Thunder Nuggets.
Oh.
And maybe they're like McNuggets that are dipped in some kind of have some kind of chili powder dust on them,
like nacho cheese, do the Doritos, nacho cheese Doritos.
Does McDonald's have that though?
Oh, I don't think so. I have no idea.
They would have to, it's one night, so they'd have to find something they can combine with the nuggets that they already have that are just ridiculous.
I say cut a deal.
Maybe fries, nuggets, and cheese in one box is a Thunder Nuggets.
Oh,
and you can only order them tomorrow
at 3:30
in anticipation of the Thunder Nuggets game.
Thunder Nuggets.
Just a thought.
There's something else you could go.
They can take it for free. That's a free one. McDonald's.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like this matchup too. I mean, what do we think's going to happen? Like, you think back to Game 5, I thought that could have been a Nuggets win on the road. It really should have been a Nuggets win on the road. They just couldn't hit a shot late in that game. I think they went, 2 of 18 in the fourth quarter, something like that, shooting the basketball. Couldn't get to the free throw line, but then they're able to pull it out in Game 6. They were able to hit some shots and extend this series to Game 7. So what do we think happens here in a Game 7 between a younger Thunder team and a more veteran, been there before, has won a championship before Nuggets team?
That's why it feels to me that you would lean towards the veterans in this situation. It just feels like those guys, experience has such a value at this point in the season and this point in the playoffs in these Game 7s. So that's where I would go with it. I mean, that's where I'm money. Yeah, you just hope they don't hit that cold streak shooting. Mm-hmm. Like you have your stars show up and be stars and get over the hump. So yeah, I mean, I just going into it just feels like it always tends to repeat itself. That experience in really close series ends up pushing its way to the top.
What do you feel about the winner of this game in the Western Conference Final? They'll be taking on Ant-Man and the Timberwolves. I feel like the winner of this series, the winner of this Game 7, is moving on to the final. The NBA Final is what I'm saying. Like Anthony Edwards, very, very good basketball player, dynamic, electric, but the way these two teams are built, I just think they got more.
It does feel like, the Cavs aren't all the way in this boat, but the one-star driven guys that want to carry the team, it feels like it tops out in a certain round of the playoffs, right? It feels like it's, you can only drag that so far. So I would agree with that. It feels to me like in the West, it would be the Nuggets. I think they win tomorrow, and I would say, yeah, if they can hit their stride and not hit those cold spells, then that's a decent Timberwolves matchup. And then out of the East, my Pacers, man.
Yeah.
I say my Pacers just to win me brownie points. I'm in a Pacers household, and so I've watched more of them than anything. And then Boston struggling or having injuries and leaving or losing the series to the Knicks kind of puts these two at a matchup. They played last year. it was, I think Pacers beat them last year. Yeah, in the series and ended up playing the Celtics. So it's just going to be an interesting one coming down to the wire on both sides. But I think you're right. I think that the Thunder Nuggets series, brought to you by McDonald's, is probably, I would think, the one winner that you're going to see him in the final.
Last year's conference finals, just looking at it, weren't particularly close. Like Boston sweeps the Pacers, and in the other one, Mavericks 4-1 over the Timberwolves. So you're talking about that experience too. Like Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves have been there before. Nuggets have certainly been there before, winning the championship. This Thunder team, though, is intriguing. Like you've got both Jalen Williams on this team, of course, SGA on this team, Hartenstein, who's been a big guy for them down low, Chet Holmgren. Like they've got a nice roster. It's just, it does come down to that experience. And a lot of people are saying too, like why don't you just give the MVP to the winner of this series, whether it's going to be Jokic or SGA? Those are kind of the two MVP guys right now, and saying whoever wins, head-to-head matchup, you get the MVP. But both those guys are intriguing players to me in that, like SGA is really, really good, but is he that guy? Is he that dog? If you know what I mean. Like, is he the Kobe Bryant take over a game guy? Is he even the Anthony Edwards absolutely take over and go crazy guy? Because the last game he had a good game, but he didn't have a whole lot of support. So can he be that guy that elevates them when the rest of the guys aren't contributing the way the Thunder need them to? Whereas Jokic, I think if the Nuggets just feed Jokic, he can go crazy.
Yeah, you already know you have him.
Jokic is unlike many athletes out there in that when the ball's in his hands, you're like, yep, making a shot, making a play. Not a lot of negative things happen when he has the
very
basketball.
Casual.
Yeah.
Feels very casual.
yeah. Super cash.
Yeah. Well, nobody is really that guy until they get over this hump of the NBA season.
So we've talked about a lot today. Like these guys needing to get over the hump.
There's like everybody's like kind of surrounds it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like you're at that level of the teams left. There's definitely some stars out there, and then there's stars in the making. So it's like those stars in the making that are already NBA stars, but you always have that asterisk until you kind of bump up and at least make an NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Because you have to be seen in that light. You have to be seen like, okay, you brought your team to this. In much less, obviously it helps to win one, but so yeah, I think SJ's on that tier of, I don't know.
Maybe he does it tomorrow. Maybe he hits that shot late in the game tomorrow, the game-winning shot, and we're like, okay, he's that guy. And then we get him and Edwards in the conference final, and so
that's the fun thing about the NBA too, though, is that like it is so star-driven that it makes this fun too. I know a lot of people sour on the NBA. I was like, I don't watch the NBA is just boring. Nobody plays defense. Well, in playoffs, they do.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't watched, like, yes, the NBA regular season can't, unless you have a team or you're a heavy betting on DraftKings or whatever, have a dog in the fight, it can be a little bit of a drag, but the playoffs are different. There is like an exciting nature to it, and then it being so star driven and personal, and only 5 dudes on the court that one can change the game. This is always an interesting time in the dog days of sports year, that is.
What do you think about that Eastern Conference final matchup, the Pacers and the Knicks? Like, I think that could be a lot of fun. I think some people might be down on it just because you were thinking, okay, we're going to get the Celtics again. There's going to be a lot of firepower with Tatum, Brown, all these guys back. But they get upset by the Pacers. Of course, Jason Tatum gets hurt. I think the Pacers have proven that they're kind of a fun, scrappy team to watch. And the Knicks are similar in a way. Like they're fast teams. They're a little bit physical. I think the matchup should be intriguing. And again, you've got Halliburton on one side who doesn't get a lot of respect. I think you've got Brunson on the other side that's a super underrated superstar in the NBA. Like a guy, you're talking about dogs. Like that guy's a dog. And it's another one of those kind of prove it matchups, right? Like as much as we've seen the Pacers prove it, they've beaten good basketball teams, got their way past the Cavs, and now they're going to have a great opportunity against the Knicks. it's a prove-it series for both of these organizations.
I think it's an intriguing matchup. I really like it. You're not getting the Boston name and what comes with that, but Knicks haven't had that of recent memory, that kind of success. But yeah, they're still a intriguing franchise. I think the Pacers the past couple of years, and this is biased, but they've been one of the more interesting stories in the NBA because of what their team makeup is.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so many times you can call like a team surprising, scrappy, if they're continually making like playoff runs and being right there. And you can't quite put your finger on it because, yeah, Halliburton is the star, but according to media and voting, like the most overrated star. But you just have a group of guys that play a style of basketball.
They have an identity.
They have an identity. This is what they do. And this year, more so than last year, even years past, I think that is being more respected as dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I think before it was just like, okay, they're kind of try-hard guys. I think now people are seeing them like, oh, this might be a handful. And I think that's how Cleveland looked at it. I don't think they took them lightly. And then the Knicks, like you talked about, I mean, yeah, Jalen Brunson's one of my favorite guys to watch.
Yeah,
he's
cool.
one of those guys that's just like, he's cold as ice, makes the plays he needs to make. Is not a physical specimen. You know, it's
Right.
not like watching a big man. When you're watching a guard do work like that, and it's just like, Chris Paul had that effect, kind of unassuming, but Jalen Brunson, yes, can take over the games. And I think it adds another level of aura that it's in New York. There's just something
The
about
Garden.
Yeah, there's just something about the basketball culture in New York, just to have it there, that we're going to get the Pacers. Like, we're going to go back to Reggie Miller, Spike Lee here. Like, and I'm sure Spike's going to be at the game.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what is Halliburton going to start doing? Like, are we going to get, like, there was a time
Maybe
when
Halliburton's dad will be in Spike Lee's face.
Yeah, see, these are so I think it has all the intrigue that it would need. I do like the history part of it, and as much as like Boston is an iconic, has like that, the court, it always plays well. But championships in basketball going through New York at some point, New York just still feels like the mecca of like the basketball or the modern basketball world.
It absolutely is, and I agree with you on that. Like, I think it's cool to have this matchup. It's like a vintage matchup in a way, and on the other side, you've got maybe more of a new age modern matchup.
Yeah.
No matter who it is in the Western Conference Final. But Game 7 tomorrow should be a lot of fun. We're going to take another break right here. It is rivalry weekend in Columbus. Hell is real between the Crew and FC Cincinnati is tonight, and it is going to be a good one. That's next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
If my buttery smooth voice represents the photos in your social media feed,
And this is closer to what real life is like. Social media can be fun, but remember, it's only showing you
the filtered version of life. So when social media is stressing you out, check in on yourself and remember, it's not the whole story. For more tips on reducing your stress, go to mha.ohio.gov/check-in. A message from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasterFord.net. Thanks.
We're your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah? The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Dylan Dane and Cole back with you. Big time matchup tonight in Columbus at lower.com. Hell is real. FC Cincinnati taking on the Columbus Crew. It's the first meeting between these teams this season. Last year, FC Cincinnati won here in Columbus, and they drew with the Crew in Cincy. So they kept the Crew out of the win column. That makes it a big one for the Crew this evening. On top of that, some new faces in the equation this year. Of course, no more Cucho for the Crew. And there's some intrigue when it comes to the playoffs. And, we're about halfway through the season, so not crazy towards the playoffs right now. But FC Cincy in the first place in the conference. The Crew right now 2 spots back of them in third. So it's a big game, and it's a big rivalry game on top of that. Have you ever been to lower.com for a Crew game?
I have.
What do you think about the atmosphere there? Because, for people out there that haven't been to one and might be listening right now, it's a lot of fun.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
It is a perfect, and I don't know if they sponsor the show. They should. Some level. We have a partnership because I'm about to say a lot of nice words about it. They found a way with this stadium. I'm sure many people have been there. It's a perfect mix of like an intimate soccer environment without feeling like small and boring. You feel like you're right on the field, which to somebody who's not like, I don't follow a lot of soccer, that it's like you're invested in this. And then not to mention, like, for, my wife, the food options are the most important thing. And the vendor, street food area, it is top notch. I think Columbus is lucky to have it. And the Crew has had some success while they've made that their home. So, I think it's one of those, Ryan Reynolds should invest in it. Buys everything else. And I think this one is, I would be for this. This would be green lit if I was his financial guy.
We've been talking a lot about Ryan Reynolds behind the scenes today.
Well, I was just like, he's been doing the Tim Hortons commercials in my headphones. I'm like, this guy's got Mint Mobile, Tim Hortons, Wrexham. He's just a Deadpool. He's just hands in everything.
Yeah, I was telling you, I think he's got a couple of other soccer teams too. Yeah. One in Mexico, one in Colombia. Like, what doesn't this guy have?
Yeah. Invest in Columbus.
Got a little bit of everything. Oh, so on top of this, I told you some new faces in the equation this year for Hell is Real. Of course, Cucho was the guy that everybody loved, no longer with the Crew. But I'm looking at MLS.com, and they've got MVP power rankings in MLS this season. Columbus's own Diego Rossi leading the MVP power ranking right now. You know who's on his heels? Evander, a midfielder for FC Cincinnati. So 2 of the best players in MLS on these squads. One of the best rivalries in MLS going on tonight in Columbus. And, what FC Cincinnati has been able to do the last few years has been darn impressive. Becoming an MLS team, and they have one of the better fan bases out there. They have a great stadium in Cincinnati, TQL Stadium. And they've really made this a thing, right? Like this rivalry for the Crew. It is a newer thing because FC Cincinnati is now in MLS, whereas the Crew's been at MLS as long as their existence. And it's fun. Like, have you ever been to a Hell is Real matchup or no?
No, not this specific matchup.
Okay.
I can't remember who the opponent was when I went the first time. And then we went and watched the women's national team a couple years back when they were here. So no, I haven't, but it seems like you obviously hear about it a ton being here in Columbus, not just the Crew, but FC Cincinnati too. You're like, oh, have you been to their stadium? It's so sweet. It's like, right. And people talk about it a lot, but it feels like these two, the rivalry is really relevant because they've both put more chips on the table for soccer in Ohio.
Yeah.
They've these beautiful new stadiums. The communities are investing in them. Now Cincinnati's isn't right downtown.
No,
it is a little bit, I believe it's a little bit north east.
I think their stadium is just a little bit west of town. It is pretty much right down there. TQL Stadium is.
So I just made all that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because they used to play their games at Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati, Nippert.
Okay, well, that's not what I'm thinking of. I guess I just thought it was closer.
Their facility, their training facility is not downtown. That's, I believe, northeast of the city. But their stadium is, it's essentially downtown in Cincy. It's not on the
it's
waterfront
way
there.
out of downtown.
No,
No,
it's not on the waterfront there.
It's out there.
Yeah.
But that's what it feels like with these two teams are kind of like, okay, we're going to put some effort behind these two organizations and franchises. Crew have had a lot of success. Anytime you have a rival right up the road and you can like gin up the excitement around it, I'm sure that the bike paths are going to be jam-packed tonight with people going down to lower.com. The bike parking lot, it seemed like down there was as big as the actual car parking lot too, because it's so accessible, but it should be something.
You know the Over the Rhine neighborhood in Cincy? You're familiar with that? That is where their stadium is now. TQL Stadium.
What?
Yeah, it's in that area.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when I was living in Cincinnati, that was like an up-and-coming still neighborhood. I think there was only like one apartment complex over there.
Okay.
What an amazing place for a stadium.
Yeah,
Good for you, Cincinnati.
It's built up now. I was down there a couple of weeks ago.
The soccer fans listening are like, are you an idiot?
Like, dude, as a matter of fact, yes.
Yes. Matter of fact, yes. This is this is what you get with I think
we're talking soccer.
We're talking soccer. And I think we're on the path to you'll have more people knowledgeable about soccer, about the exact location of FC Cincinnati's stadium as this rivalry grows and the game kind of grows. I think there's a lot of people invested in trying to make soccer more of a relevant in America as a whole, but trying to like jump onto the interest that's in it.
Yes.
Some of it sparked by our good friend, the Canadian Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, you're right about that. People are into it. Drawing it right back to Reynolds. Look at you.
Everything ties back to Reynolds.
Everything.
No, but it just on some level sometimes reminds me of like what's happened with F1. Like the American public that gets introduced to like the backstory of something can buy into this. And I know Columbus Crew's been a thing long in the works of trying to build up this following popularity. And then the new stadium. It's amazing. Perfect location. Grows and grows. It's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. And soccer's also potentially the most accessible sport in the world. You need a little bit of space and you need a ball. That's why so many people play it. And so many people around the world are interested in soccer. And you've obviously got huge sports here in North America. Football dominates that conversation. But, I mean, soccer, you look at the value of some of these MLS teams, and they're right up there with the most valuable soccer teams in the world. Like top 50, many of the MLS teams are in the top 50 most valuable soccer teams in the world.
That shocks me.
Yeah.
I did not. I mean, I guess you could assume that if these MLS teams are now able to pay some of these top players to come in.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like David Beckham was a one-off and then Messi joins. That is interesting that in value, because it wouldn't be in overall, success or that you're getting the best players in the world all the time. But it probably speaks to the market that they've placed these MLS teams in, that there's interest for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go into the list right now and read off everyone that we've got, but many MLS teams are in the top 50 most valuable soccer teams in the world, which I was surprised by as well. But it just tells you that there is so much intrigue in these markets and people are into it, man.
How does the Columbus Crew get a night game, but Ohio State has to play all those noon games, you know? That's what I'm thinking.
Those TV dollars, baby. Come on.
Let's bring it back to Ohio State.
Hell is Real isn't the only rivalry going on in Ohio right now. The Guardians and Reds are battling in the Ohio Cup. We're going to have game 2 of that series right here on The Fan a little bit later today. So have a little bit of baseball conversation, then wrap things up. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And well, we smell a little, but You've accepted that. The Fan.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, Private Selection Angus 90% lean ground sirloin is on sale. 1 pound packages are only $5.77 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Get Eco. Aaron, I love that we fix ACs for free.
I don't think we do that, Jerry.
Get Eco. Stay with me, Aaron. I'm going to explain to you how it works.
You're going to explain to me how my own invention works?
Get Eco. Step 1. Some other HVAC company tells a customer that they need a whole new system.
Yes.
And then they call us.
They can always call us, Jerry.
Get Eco. And then we repair their system for free.
No, then they pay us.
But we give the money back, right?
We give them back all the money they paid us to fix their old system when they finally do need a new one.
Up to $1,500, right?
Right.
Aaron, we're fixing HVAC systems for free.
Get Eco. We extend the life of their system.
That's right.
Those extra years are free. On me.
Get Eco. Eco. Plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen. That's just you drinking a Big Gulp from Speedway. And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a hit. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
To find an agent near you, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Join our resident gambling degenerates Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money Sunday morning at 9.
Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility. The Fan.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay -108 than -110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sportsbook. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio is your Medicaid plan for more benefits, more rewards. We know that good health means more than just seeing a doctor when you're sick. Eligible members can receive extras like home-delivered meals and family essentials, like baby carriers and kids' school supplies. Members can even earn rewards for playing mobile health trivia games. Learn more at AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com and call the Ohio Medicaid Consumer Hotline at 1-800-324-8680 to choose AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio.
Ohio.
Save big on your next landscaping project at Menards. We make landscaping simple with our free, easy-to-use design program and step-by-step project guides. Plus, we have the largest in-stock selection of concrete landscape blocks at the best prices. Save big on our 12-inch smooth patio blocks on sale now. Stop in to see our full selection and get your project started. Check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Time to talk some baseball. Dylan and Dane with you, Fan Sports Saturday. Wrapping things up in this final segment. The Ohio Cup going on right now. Dane, down in Cincinnati. The Guardians are battling the Reds. I believe the Guardians have held the Ohio Cup for quite some time right now, the last 10 seasons. So split, Indians-Guardians, really dominant over the Reds. But the Reds won the game last night. They're going to play a little bit later on this evening. We'll have it for you here on The Fan. But it was fun last night. I was actually down there.
You went?
Yeah, I was sitting on the third base side. I actually went to 2 Reds games in a row. I went to the White Sox game on Thursday afternoon, and then I went to the Ohio Cup last night. The Guardians taking on the Reds, and it got interesting at the end. Carlos Santana was at the plate in the top of the 9th inning, and he flew out to the warning track. Different Santana.
Oh.
But he flew out to the warning track. It looked like things might be knotted up in the 9th inning, but the wind, I think, killed it right at the track, and the Reds were able to win the game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was a good one. It was a good one.
That, and you warmed up the Hell is Real path on the way?
I did. I coming up 71 there, checking out the billboard, the way down, the way back up. Yeah.
Making sure everything's in order, getting yourself ready for tonight.
I forged the trail for all the Cincinnatians making the trip tonight.
So this isn't for me because I obviously know. But for our listeners, what makes up the, like when you say Ohio Cup, is it just the one series?
It's their interleague series that they play every year.
Which only happens once.
Yeah. So let me look at
this isn't for me, Dylan, obviously.
So what are we saying here?
Yeah, I'm saying like the Ohio Cup, what does that consist of?
So it consists of the matchup between the Reds and the Guardians every season. They play one in Cincy, one in Cleveland every season. So it's essentially the winner of those series.
Huh.
Yeah. So they're going to play in Cleveland in June 9th through the 11th. It will be the Guardians-Reds up there in the second iteration of the Ohio Cup.
Okay.
But the Reds have had their struggles in the Ohio Cup for the last number of years. It's been the Guardians dominating, but a good start last night winning that game, and they're trying to win the series with a win tonight down at Great American Ballpark. It is a 6:40 first pitch between the Guardians and the Reds tonight, and again, that coverage will be here on The Fan for you.
Reds still pretty healthy?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, they've got their guys. They're missing Hunter Green right now, who is their best pitcher. Like, he's the guy that you really want healthy, right? Mm-hmm. He's their ace. Also on my fantasy baseball team, so I'd like him healthy too. But their lineup's good for the most part. Like Ellie De La Cruz is healthy. He's playing. Will Benson hit a big home run last night, which I know stings some Guardians fans because he was a one-time Guardian. He was actually here in Columbus for a while playing with the Clippers. But yeah, I mean they've got their guys. Like you're looking at their lineup. Austin Hayes hit a home run last night for the Cincinnati Reds. So yeah, I mean they've pretty much got everybody that they would want in their lineup outside of Hunter Green on the bump.
Ellie De La Cruz is one of those players that it's just like worth the price of admission. At least just like an electric, especially a couple years ago when he was brand new to the scene. And it seemed like there was a month there when like he was stealing home, hitting home runs. You're just like, wait, the Reds are a thing to watch right now.
Yeah, he is the type of player that absolutely is worth the price of admission because you just don't know what you're going to get out of Elly De La Cruz while also knowing exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get chaos. Like he's going to, first of all, we were talking last night at the game just about how large he is out there. Like baseball players in general tend to be bigger guys, but like Elly De La Cruz is playing shortstop at 6'5", 6'6". Like he is hulking over some of the other players out there. Like Santana was out there at second base, and Santana's not necessarily a tall guy, but he's a big guy. And Elly De La Cruz was just head and shoulders, just a bigger man. And so, first of all, you're looking at that. He's playing shortstop. He hits with a ton of power, and he's also got maybe the best speed in baseball. Like last night, he swiped a bag. What happened last night was he actually got picked off of first base. Well, it was a back pick to first base, but he just jetted for second and beat it.
It's a weird thing to watch. One of my favorite things of going to the game live was watching, and this is a benefit. I'm a sucker for when you're going to live games, especially baseball, hockey, watching like pre-games, warm-ups, and in baseball, in between innings, how comfortable he is on a baseball field. And yes, exactly what you said is like he's coming out of the dugout. You're like, this guy's not small. I do have a fun fact for you, though.
Okay, what is it?
Do you know Elly's a twin?
Elly De La Cruz?
Elly De La Cruz is a twin. This is real.
Okay.
And his twin brother, Pedro, 5'8".
No.
Google it.
So he took all the height.
Took all the height? Maybe the speed. I don't know. Maybe Pedro's fast, too.
So he has a twin brother that he is legitimately a foot taller than.
According to the internet, yes. I was told this fun fact like a week ago. I just tried to on the fly look it up, and yeah, I think that checks out. So yes, while you're looking at like him, he's like, this guy is 6'6" playing shortstop. It's just like a fun little additional fact to his size and ability.
Oh, man. All right, so we got that at 6:40 tonight, first pitch at Great American Ballpark. What do you got going the rest of the day, Dane?
Oh, man. I wish you wouldn't remind me. Before the show, I went and picked up all the mulch from Home Depot.
Everybody in my neighborhood has the mulch on the lawn.
So this afternoon, I'm going to rip them open and try to find a way to listen to our White Sox.
Oh, yeah, you and I.
They're
found out that
we find
both White Sox guys.
We're just going to admit it, and sitting in this room, we're White Sox guys.
Yeah.
What can you say?
They're playing the Cubs.
Yeah.
Another rivalry series there. Crosstown rivalry. Cubs hammered them yesterday, and I was down there. I saw the White Sox play the Reds the other night. Elly De La Cruz hit a home run in that game.
As he should.
Yes.
I'm rooting for them both.
Okay. You're a Reds guy and a White Sox guy now?
I'm an Elly guy and a White Sox guy.
All right. So we've had some Bears talk, White Sox talk. We've had a little bit of our own fandom.
I'm trying to play to your I know you like to talk about it, so I'll throw you some like Chicago bones here.
No, I appreciate that. Well, it was fun to do this with you, Dane. It was my first time hosting a show with you, so I hope that you and I get to do it again sometime. I felt like we had some nice chatter. Ryan Reynolds, we were able to bond about him.
We just built chemistry live on air, folks. That was, you didn't even know it, for 3 hours. That was the maiden voyage of our radio partnership.
And I learned that you're the GOAT, Chicago Bears number 18. Caleb Williams owes everything in his future to you.
These are things that are true and need to be spread throughout the internet. Yes.
All right, Dane. Well, I had a lot of fun doing it with you. Thanks very much. Cole Bartemus on the keys back there. Thanks very much, Cole. It is Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants. The pervert and the skivvies. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone, and I'm going to let you know that right now, Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings is offering their best discount of the year on all their awesome sheds, pavilions, cabins, and garages from Weaver Barnes. These specials are only good through May, which makes right now the best time to order. Check out Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings' beautiful sales lot in Dublin, where you can see their displays and learn about all the options. There's never been a better time to get that project in motion and save some cash in the process. See all the details at AmishCountryFurnishings.com. Once again, that's AmishCountryFurnishings.com.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a room of rejected mascot memorabilia. Is it real? No one knows. But we do know NJM is proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries. Summer 2025 is bringing something wild to your Columbus Zoo. The all-new North America Trek opens this summer, a reimagined zoo region inspired by your national parks. Get ready to get up close with Mexican wolves, black bears, river otters, bald eagles, and more in breathtaking new habitats. Discover local wildlife and conservation in action like never before. Plan your visit today. Visit columbuszoo.org for details.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell air conditioners instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's